Oh, live stream started. Now you're good.
We're good.
We're here.
Boom, baby. Welcome back to another episode, CeleTake Podcast. Episode 9.
Nice.
This is pretty fucking good.
Told you.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking good. Holy shit.
Bro.
It does kind of taste like Red Bull, though. This
Really?
Monster, I guess because it's just,
Let me get a little more monster.
There you go. Told you, man.
Shout out goes for the drink.
For real.
Crown Vanilla.
Mr. Ryder.
Yes, sir, the rider.
Much
But if your first time joining us, this is CeleTake
What the
Podcast.
fuck are you doing here? This is your first time joining us.
What are you
Go back to episode 1.
Hey, what are you doing? But this is a podcast where we talk anything and everything Celly Nation. I'm your boy, E, also the host. Next to me, we have the league owner and co-host of the podcast, Mike. Now joining us to help us talk all about it. On my right, we got the captain of your Ghost Riders, the Ghost himself, the man on the bike himself. And then on the left, we got the captain of the Reapers, Saucy Sauce.
Hello. Shout out to him. I see you too, my friend. You just sent me a text.
Oh, yeah, we in the chat. People in the chat.
I'm sure some idiots will be here soon.
Yeah,
What's up, fellas? Boogie! Another captain. There we go.
What's up, Boogie?
Mr. Boog.
Dope
Well,
ass
let's jump straight in. Oh, first, I want to say thank you to Parker and Mike for last week for stepping in. I was a little sick.
How you
Appreciate
feeling?
Real better.
Good.
Yeah, appreciate you, boys. Thank you, Parker.
Thank you,
Shout
E.
out Parker.
Now, let's jump into it. Game 1 of last week. We're week 8, coming down to the final weeks of the season. Week 8, game 1, we had the Makos versus the Magicians. 68-65.
What a game.
What a game. Yusuf with a game winner. Now we got 1v1 dropped to 17 points with 8 rebounds. Yusuf also dropped to 17 points, 9 rebounds. For the Magicians, you had a good game by Gary. Is it Jerry?
Gary Harris.
Gary Harris. 18 points, 7 rebounds. And Brandon Steve with 16 points, making 4 threes. Sauce. What'd you see from the Makos?
Well, I got to commentate that game.
Yes, you did.
What I saw from them, they started off pretty well, forcing turnovers, getting in transition. But then it's just lack of ball movement, and they settle. There's no reason for them to settle throughout that game. Shout out to the Magicians, who at the end of the day, they did put up a good fight.
Yeah.
But the reality was that the Makos played their game. It shouldn't have been that close. You got a team who, they got 2 people who've been there since the beginning. Other than that, they're working with new guys.
Yeah.
But too many threes, too much Yusuf. I think Yusuf could take better shots, and if he had committed to facilitating more, I think they would have won by a wider margin. Didn't take the heroics at that last shot. But shout out to him. In spite of a 2 for 9 day, he was still ready to make the biggest shot of the game, and he did. And you can't fault them for that.
Now goes for the Magicians. Their new team, how they look.
For the most part, they looked, for being a brand new team, shout out to them for coming out ready to fight. It was a good, obviously all-around effort. I didn't see the breakdowns that we had in the past with them, kind of like fighting each other and wanting to kill each other at the end. But there was some like questionable shot taking. Mike Parker, I love you. Mike Mitchell, excuse me.
He just wanted to let
I love you. You take some questionable shots. You get there, you get to your spot. Obviously get the team going with some and ones. But obviously they just played into the Makos' hands at some points, and obviously there were some shots that were questionable on both ends. But I feel like the Magicians took a lot of more questionable shots, which obviously led to more turnovers at their end, and obviously more turnovers leads over to more points to the opposite team, or more chances for them to score. So that's obviously what it came down to. And then missing their free throws, that was a big thing. I saw all these free throws that they went to the line, got to the line, just didn't capitalize on those 3 points, and that's what ultimately if you add those points in, it won't be a close game. But
they could have won too.
They could have.
Exactly.
I mean, I think Brandon Steed had 3 missed layups, like wide open ones, like
Yeah.
fast break. And then there's 8.8 left, and I remember pointing it out on the broadcast. If I'm Boogie, I call a timeout there, just to relax. Like, hey, this is what we got to do here, because I think at that point it might have been tied. And then right after that, instead of getting timeout, it's rushed. It's a good effort on the Mako side to go get the steal, but the inbound gets stolen. They go up by 2, and the rest is history.
yeah.
All right, for the Makos now, they're 6-2. Do you think they're getting overshadowed because La Familia is going 7-1 in their conference, or do you still think Makos are still top dog in that conference? Mike,
I think they're a different team than La Familia, and we're seeing 2 sides of the same coin because they're both winning at a high level. Their game was a 1-point game, so clearly they're the top 2 teams right now. in either conference. And what we're seeing is La Familia's execution is a little bit better. I think they have more of an identity than the Makos. The Makos, week in and week out, haven't really found a rhythm because Yusuf is so volatile.
Yeah.
And when he's playing well, they look really good. When he's doing too much like he did this last game, that's when they start bickering and they start getting into those bad positions. La Familia doesn't really have much of that. La Familia is pretty steady. They went down big, they came back 2 weeks in a row, and then they blew out the team that they're playing. It's 2 weeks in a row where they've been in a hole. Instead of blaming each other, instead of pointing fingers, they said, all right, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing we've done every other game. We're going to full court press, and nobody's going to know how to fix it, and that's it. But it's working. So they have an identity. We're a fast-paced team who's going to full court press you, who doesn't want to get into a half-court offense. We just want to push the pace, and we're faster. We're more athletic. We have 4 really talented guards, and John Kerry is able to also play down low.
Yeah.
It's really hard for them to beat.
Crazy for his size.
So they are very tough to beat because they have an identity. They know what they're doing. The Makos, if they figure that out in these next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if they make it into that first round of the playoffs, they have a chance to beat La Familia. But if they can't figure that out, I think I think La Familia has that division on lock.
Do you think, is there anybody on that team that could possibly be like an MVP candidate?
Right.
Makos.
On the Makos,
Yeah.
Yusuf wants to
Is there,
be in that conversation.
You're shaking your head off?
There's just no one that rises above the crop compared to like guys like Braylon, like Sway. Like those guys lead their teams week in and week out. There's never an issue with them, and their teams usually go as they go. With the Makos, and this is where my trepidation with them, there just seems to be this fatal flaw waiting to be exposed in the playoff, where it's like you're just watching it, and I'm again watching the game on Sunday. I'm like, there's just something that I don't trust about the Makos. It's something with the composition that I feel is going to rear its ugly head around when it comes playoff time. Whereas with La Familia, that's a together group. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. Braylon's giving Horace threes where most other guys probably wouldn't do that. But that's the kind of leader they have in Braylon. Santi having an off game one weekend, regardless of that, he goes out and has 30 points on like 70-some% shooting. That's because Braylon's leading the way, and so is Coach Stone, and who's also a master tactician because he knows, all right, we're down right now. How do we get back in this game?
Press.
Create turnover.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is against the Ghost Riders, not to jump the game, but I'll save it for them. But the press, the Ghost Riders actually broke it a lot.
Yeah, they did.
They just couldn't capitalize on when they
You
were.
guys actually broke it a lot.
Yeah, but as you can see, just pass it. Nobody's figured that out, and I don't see the Makos being that team to figure it out because when push comes to shove, they're going to revert back to what's natural to them, and it's not to work together.
Yeah.
It's for whatever reason, there's this individualistic play that they have going on. So.
All right, let's get a game 2. We got the Dogs versus the Goblins. The Dogs needing a win, getting it 54-44. The man next to me, the league owner himself, taking things into his own hands, dropping 18 points, 8 rebounds, and then AJ following with 16 points, 7 rebounds. For the Goblins, we got, as Josh calls him, Dangerous Dre, 16 points. And then Juan dropping 13 points also. For the Goblins, it's 4 straight losses. Ghosts, what do you think is causing this?
I don't know. I just think it's, they're in a rut. They're beating themselves up. That first loss was a tough loss. Yeah. You experience it. It's the way you bounce back. They obviously didn't huddle up enough to obviously figure out what was wrong. They obviously been doing things right in a sense. Shout out to Juan. He's been, taking kind of the back burner and kind of not trying to be the main ball hog. But some of those games where he did take control, you can see where they were in the right element of winning the game. Not saying he needs to have the ball in his hand at all times, but in clutch moments, you want to put it in his hands. And, obviously...
I think he needs the ball more.
Yeah, definitely needs the ball more. So for me, him being your number 1 pick, run your offense through him, get your other people involved. The energy was great off the bench, having Big Bird back definitely helped them a lot. Even Zane was on the bench coaching very well. While I was taking photos, I can hear him, getting his team involved. Yeah. It's just not everybody kind of like being at the place where they need to be. So at the end of the day, I think Dean just needs to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, look, like we've been here before. Like, we've been that team that actually can win. Let's go back to doing what we did in the beginning, kind of look at what the winning films looks like and go back to what they did right and focus on that. and kind of use that going forward, because if not, they're just going to continue in that rut and keep putting their head down, and it's going to be a tough game going forward in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, you got the Dogs who are on a 3-game winning streak. What are they doing good now? Is it
I mean,
Montel, or is
I honestly, I think Montel was a spark. You know, Mike said it all along. You know, we weren't fully staffed and fully full strength, and I can attest to that because not having my full team. You know, when you get everybody there, like losing Vaughn last week was crucial to us.
Oh,
but we
yeah.
came out swinging, which was amazing. But then we came back and like everyone got gas, and we didn't have subs ready to go and have that more fire. I couldn't get Trey out of the game. Same thing, you know, kind of with the Dogs. Like now having, you know, Montel in there and able to swap him out and have him get some rest, and Mike get some rest, AJ get some rest, you know, and still have people out there to score the ball and move the ball properly, just makes a big thing. And when we went against them, I was like, damn, this is definitely a different team. So you can definitely, you know, see that they all bought in and kept their head up. You know, shout out to Mike for, you know, keeping everybody in the game and keep believing, because that's all it is. One game takes it to turn it all the way around, and now look at them. So it is what it is.
Now, Mike, when you were on that losing streak, there was a couple of things you were addressing about your team. Have you seen a change in the winning streak?
Yeah, and I said it after the game because we got into a fight in the middle of the game, and we were winning the game. It was very close. Actually, Goblins might have been up by 1 at this point, halfway through the second half, and this is the first game where I took a lot of shots. Felt good. I felt like having so much talent around me, the Goblins didn't have enough defenders to match up with every single one of us, and I constantly found myself in a mismatch and had somebody in front of me that I didn't feel like could guard me. So I had 14 in the first half. In the second half, Montel's energy was getting a little bit low, and I knew that, and I noticed it because he wasn't getting the touches.
Right.
So we call a huddle when we're kind of on a bad streak, and Mitch makes the comments in the huddle about, like, we got to get Montel the ball, yada, yada, yada. So you see me 2 plays in a row, or 2 plays in the span of 2 minutes travel, and I'm past Ethan on the one play, and the other one I'm like caught in the middle of the court because I'm overthinking the game now, because now I'm like, I was on my scoring stuff. Now I got to figure out how can I get Montel involved. And so I went over to Mitch and I'm like, hey, you're throwing me off my game. Like, I'm in a groove right now. Let me keep going. And that led to an outburst. And after the game, I said, that was the most passion I've seen from our guys the whole time. Like, that fight, although it was a fight, was because we cared and we wanted to win.
Right.
And that's what we missed in the beginning of the season, that dedication. And all 8 of the guys there last week really Pat with a broken hand still wanted to play. So I'm just proud of the way that the guys have bought in together now, and that's what we were missing in the beginning. And I really just like the development of the energy, people wanting to win, people there each week, being unselfish, playing the roles that they have to. And I think we're catching a little bit of a groove, but we still got two huge games. So nothing matters anymore.
One huge one. The last one. Week 10, not next week.
No, this next one is pivotal, because if we win this next one, then we pretty much lock our spot in the playoffs.
You don't need that, though. But it's awesome. He asked you. From Mike's teams, what are you seeing from them?
Well, I've never been that angry watching a game that had nothing to do with me. It's just I don't like bad basketball. And at their best, and I said it on the commentary, when Mike has the ball, there's energy off ball. There are people cutting to the basket and moving. And as much as I love AJ as a player, it's so infuriating seeing him just hold the ball. And then everyone just stops and watches. And that's just not... no wonder Montel's getting upset. There's a few plays... Because he is a good scorer, the defense has to react. And he has to know that. If I catch the ball, as soon as I see a secondary defender activating toward me, why not just give it up already? Half the time, if you give it up and then go cut, that defense is not disciplined enough to not stick with you and see the ball. The ball leaves, they're going to turn, and you got a backdoor cut. There's a lot of layups left out there. A lot of unforced turnovers by AJ, too, where if you just give the ball up, just keep it moving the same way you were when Mike was bringing the ball up, you guys are in a better shape. And when Chef also, if he brings the ball up too, he was out of rhythm for that. I feel like for that reason. For like AJ, when he's looking for his shot, it's at the detriment of other people. And if you guys want to make a deep playoff run, that's going to be something y'all got to figure out. I do see there's more passion, more energy. Defensively, not everybody across the board, but enough people that you guys are able to get these wins and head in the right direction. But there's still some work to be done there. And you guys still don't have everybody. So who knows what it's going to look like with Spank there too. You know, it's great having Montel again, like I said, but having a guy like that, you got to keep him engaged. You got to keep him feeling like he's part of the offense, or else you're going to lose him. And it doesn't matter what's going on.
He's an athlete, man. He's an athlete. Just getting him involved into touches and getting rebounds for you, and just see him in down low, and obviously let him attack, and then you guys obviously go and tackle with him. Just gets him involved. And even if he misses, you know, he's still getting the ball at the rim, and eventually they're going to start falling for him. So I know against us they did.
Yeah. He's a great player. We know it.
Yeah.
I've spoken individually with some of my guys figuring out what went wrong with us.
Yeah.
I know that I took a lot more shots than I normally do. That's the most shots I've taken all season. But
you made them count.
You had to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're aggressive. Again, the aggression in the first half, because of what was presented to you, you're taking what the defense is giving you.
Yeah, I had to.
And that's what some of your guys aren't understanding is basketball is not that hard. Most of those guys are already more talented. Why make it more difficult for yourself?
Yep.
Take what's given to you, and when you get in a rhythm like that and the defense is scrambling, you guys get even easier shots. And then you force the other teams, because this is what you guys always do, like season in and season out. You'll speed up another team. They'll start pressing, start taking threes that they don't need to take, start turning the ball over, and next thing you know, you guys get 10 points real quick because you guys are in fast breaks. If you guys just play the game the right way, those points will come to you. You don't need to work that hard with the talent you guys have.
Yep.
And that's what's so frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why Mitch gets so frustrated.
Mitch knows ball, man.
Yeah.
Great one.
But as far as the Goblins, I just want to touch on that before we move on. Juan didn't take a shot for 10 minutes into the game. When I was guarding him, I was confused. It makes no sense. Yeah, they took and then I'm obviously I hear what goes on behind the door with some teams. This team in particular, they get mad at the amount of shots that he's taking and the shot selection. He took the second most shots on your team, but most of them were towards the end of the game when he was one of the few players that was still actively seeking a W down by 6 or 8, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's not the issue on the Goblins, and I feel like they're using him as a scapegoat in this losing streak.
Yeah.
But if they utilized him earlier in the game, I feel like it would open the floor for everybody else. He's got, between him and Dre, Dre was pulling up from NBA range and as soon as he came into the game. If you use those two and spread out the floor, especially with Dean as well, you have 3 shooters that can spread out the floor. Now everybody else gets easier looks. Ty, Chief, Ethan, everybody can get to the hole if you just let those guys start the game for you. I feel like they're crippling themselves, and the difference that I've seen with them, if you watch towards the end of the game with the last 5 minutes left, when it's still a close game, Zane is the only energy in that huddle. You see in Tyreek's eyes, you see in Juan's eyes, they're not what they were in week 1 when they played us. In week 1 when they played us, I told my guys they deserved that win because of the way that they were in their huddle, the way that they were speaking to each other, the way that they were bought in together. I feel like now they're so much at odds, and it starts top down. It starts with Dean and Juan, and it's got to work its way down. And if they're not on the same page, and Dean's sometimes pessimistic attitude or like that, like
it's over.
Yeah, like that stuff. The amount of times you pulled his hair, like he's got to just stay positive. Like surround yourself with Zane and Big Bird energy, and you guys still have a very, very good team.
Yeah.
You're still in first place. You're on a 4-game losing streak, and you're still in first place. You need
crazy.
one more win, and you're in a really good spot. So, like, you guys got to figure out how to stop pointing fingers. Your team's set. I don't think Brandon Steed was the issue. I think Brandon Steed was a steal for the Magicians, other than the missed layups. But you guys got to figure out how to work together. Stop blaming each other. You have a really talented roster. Go Goblins. That's it.
Cheddar Goblins.
Cheddar Goblins.
No, I agree with that. With the one thing, he was getting me pissed off too, though.
Yeah, he's got to score. He's got to get the ball more.
He just has to go downhill.
He's a natural scorer.
You saw what happened when he did it to me.
There's no
I played one-on-one with him 10 games straight. Anytime he goes baseline, the best I'm going to do is pull the chair.
There's nothing you can do.
I can't. He's 215. I'm 180.
Yeah, no.
Like,
I was also confused.
yeah, with no spank in the paint, that should have been a bucket for him every time. He should have had 30 on me.
Yeah, no, Juan's not the problem.
Too many times.
Their problem is when they're getting shots too. It's the kinds of shots that are available to them. Chief is doing a good job of facilitating as best he can. It's just a lot of times if anyone else is trying to start that offense, when they do get the shot, it's not like in
It's not in rhythm.
at all. It's like, oh, I have the ball, and all right, it's a 3-pointer.
Yeah. It's the same issue that we have at times when certain people are holding the ball a little bit too long. Like, and you said on the commentary,
Mitch
Mitch.
one. Yeah.
Yes. Mitch. He's there. He's waiting for the ball. I know Mitch's cadence. I know when he's walking up, when to give him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
When he's sitting there,
It's too late.
it's way too late.
Yeah.
It's way too late. It throws you off the rhythm. And I agree. Goblins are taking a lot of out of rhythm shots. Chief had, 7 or 8 assists?
8 assists. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
like, facilitate through him, let Juan score. It's a very simple game. You guys did it for 4 games straight. It's a very simple game.
On in danger string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All
that's
right.
our 2 cents.
Let's go. Game 3. Got the Ghost Riders.
Sorry, buddy.
Familia.
We got to do it.
The blowout of the day.
No. Don't you forget about your own. Don't you forget about your
Hey,
own.
at least I got 66.
Yeah, y'all lost by 21,
Yeah.
bro. Come on.
And we did that to you, right?
Oh, hell no.
You guys are terrible.
We got La Familia dropping 90 points. The Ghost Riders 66. Santi dropping
You didn't
30.
even send me a graphic for yours?
I did. No.
That's
no,
crazy.
That's
That's crazy, bro. Don't blame it on the stats.
Wow.
You had the stat sheet after the game. You could at least put
so
their
funny.
points.
Oh, man.
What a
He
coincidence.
said, "Oh, I forgot we played Sunday."
It was so bad you tried to forget it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry.
Santi dropping 30 points with 7 threes.
Shout out to Santi, bro.
Shout out.
He's
Santi,
good,
man.
man. He's really
Mike
good.
Parker still putting on his case for Rookie of the Year. 23 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. For the Ghost Riders, Ryan turned up 17 points. Came
10 in the
early.
first 3
Came
minutes and
early
then
in the
barely
game.
touched the fucking ball.
who's Ryan again? That's how y'all played on
And
Sunday.
Trayvon with a nice double-double, 16 and 10. Ghosts. What happened?
I think, coming into the game, we were expecting Vaughn. Us missing
That
Vaughn, not
hurts.
him showing up. We missed communication with him. We're like, yo, where's Vaughn? Where's Vaughn? He's not here. He's normally here in the morning. First person here. And I'm like, damn, where is he? I'm like, look, if he's not here, we just got to play what we got. It is what it is. And the guys were ready. They came out ready to go. And it shows that we can do it without Vaughn. We love Vaughn and we love what he brings to the table. And obviously he spreads the floor. And when he attacks, he's just, he's a bucket.
Yeah.
And, it's a great thing to have him. But when we lose him, I just feel like we lose a body that we can use to either score for us or get Trey some rest. Because Trey going 100%, all the time is hard. And him being obviously the number 1 pick for me, I know he puts that on his back a lot. He's very very humble and he's good. He's just fluid with the game and getting everyone involved. And Ryan came out and stepped up a big game this game, and was putting a lot on his back, but was getting frustrated with with it not correlating to the score. Us not getting up and not obviously fighting back. And then La Familia saw, what we lacked, and obviously they exposed it. They saw we didn't have a deep bench. They saw we didn't have any rotation in on the guys that mattered. So those guys went to work. Santi went to work on when I wasn't guarding him, when Trey wasn't guarding him. He just obviously took the shots where he's comfortable at taking, and they obviously ran with that. So once it got out of hand, there was really not much we can do. It's hard to, obviously take that one on the chin, but you really can't dissect it too much. We didn't have a full strength team. It is what it is. And I told them, I was like, look, for us to come out like that was great. It shows that we can run with them. We're the only team that gave them their only L at full strength, so we know we can beat them. But at the end of the day, we can't say that they didn't win fair. They did. They did their thing. They showed up. Their players came out to ball. And they put it on us. They really did. So shout out to them. Shout out to Santi for stepping up and putting on a big game after a game that was kind of questionable the week before. But he was ready to go, even though he shows up late. Still a damn bucket. I don't know how he does
Takes
it,
a
but
shit in the bathroom, says I'm gonna drop 30.
I'm gonna drop another shit on the court.
Up 30.
Yeah, shout out to Santi.
God damn it.
Alright,
fucking good.
Sauce. What'd you see from La Familia? Why are they so good, bro? Like,
I mean,
is it just the press or is it something else?
listen, man. When we played them last week, we were up by 20 points when it came down to forcing them to play half court on both ends of the floor. If you allow them to press and you feel like, let me dribble through this, you're in trouble. Now, here's the other thing, though. The Ghost Riders broke the press consistently. The issue is you've got Trey as the first pass against the press, which means you don't have a scorer to finish off against the press. It's usually Kyson in the corner for a 3, which is fine. Like in rhythm, Kyson can hit those. You just don't want. That's not how you're going to beat the press though throughout the game. That's the problem. I'm seeing here also Trey. He took 18 shots, 10 of them were 3s. He's bigger than anyone that La Familia has. So I kind of wish maybe that's a product of the press and having to rush. But if you guys slowed it down a little more and just made a concerted effort to get him in the post, I don't think they really had anybody to deal with him. Unfortunately, it's just what happened, man. So when you get down and you start taking threes against a team that's already pressing you, they want to run, and you start missing those threes because going 20% from three, that's long rebounds. That's instant offense on the other end. And then Santi getting hot. I don't know who told him he couldn't play ball. There's just certain ways. Oh, yeah, let me, if y'all could. There's just certain ways that you kind of get under people's skin.
Who told him he couldn't play ball?
I don't know who, but I saw him get upset. So I went, I'm like, yo, what's going on? He's like, somebody told me I couldn't play basketball. And I was like, all right.
Well, somebody's an idiot.
Right, exactly. I'm like, that's
Did
not.
Gator tell you this?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm like, I have no idea who told him. Thank you, my friend. But
It's like beer.
yeah, I don't like beer. Now I have a aversion to
Thank
this.
you.
But just watching the game again and having played Santi the week before, the way you get under his skin is on the court, off ball. Make him fight with you off ball, and he tends to just be like, all right, that's a little too much. I'm not dealing with this shit. But as soon as you tell him, like, yo, you suck or something like that, well, now that's a whole different kind of trash talk, and now you're asking for the best of Santi. And if you're not ready for that problem, don't say nothing to him.
So do you give him compliments as your
Just
guardian?
be like, yo, you're a great player.
Hey, I love you. I love you. I love your
That
ankle
three you
sock.
just hit on me.
Great shot. Slap him on the ass and keep him moving.
Nice.
No, but in general, in all the seasons that I've played against Santi, I'm usually the primary defender on him. And I mean, you can ask him. I just fight with him off ball. And when we're in the game, it really is. It's complimentary. We do. It's like, oh, that was a good shot. Yeah, that's good. It's just calm. We just straight to business and do your work on the court. You ain't got to run your mouth with him. You know, that's just one of those things. Certain players, you don't want to get them going in that sense because obviously 7 for 9 from 3. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, do you think Vaughn makes that game a little closer?
Yeah, for sure.
How close?
I mean, realistically, they could win that game. I know it's a 24-point game, but the difference is the speed and athleticism. So I love Chan to death. I love Axel to death, but Familia is the fastest team. You have one of the fastest guys in the league with Vaughn. He's going to be able to match up way better with those guys. He's not the best defender, but at least he's fast and athletic. So he'll grab you boards. He, as much as we make fun of him for taking bad shots, he does move the ball. He would have helped you guys a lot. And the point differential, it wouldn't be the same. I love Kyson. I think Kyson's playing good. He took a lot of good shots, but imagine if Vaughn's taking those shots instead of Kyson.
Mm-hmm.
Those little things add up throughout a game because now it's 90 to 66, but how much of that is just they're having fun, they're pushing the ball, and they're hitting these tough shots at the end of the game.
It's not a threes. That happens.
Yeah, and that's going to happen in those times when they're going for 100 points. They're going to, push the numbers up. I think Vaughn makes a huge difference. We saw it at the beginning of the season. As he said, they're the only team that beat La Familia. I think they have a good matchup. I said it during the podcast the week before. I think that's a good matchup against La Familia. I think that I mean, no credit taken away from La Familia. I think that it's a way closer game, and they could potentially win the game if Vaughn is there.
Mm-hmm.
But no Vaughn, that's a hard game.
Yeah, this one,
game.
if Vaughn was there, it would go down to coaching, which obviously Tone would probably take that from me. But my guys,
Yeah, but if you knew what he was going to do, which you did,
yeah,
and you guys were able to break it, you were not executing at the other end.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Because you were
difference.
missing.
Yeah.
You look at your turnovers. I didn't look at the full stats, but probably the lowest against La Familia this season. Mike Parker only with 1 steal.
yeah,
That stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So those things is what I was looking at. Like, okay, they didn't play bad. You guys stopped getting Ryan involved, which killed you. He shot 6 for 8 or something like that.
yeah.
He shot phenomenal for your team.
6 for 8.
Yeah.
And 17 points on 6 shots. That's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So if Vaughn was there, it would have been closer, but I think you guys still probably lose that game. Just solely based upon the issue. You might have had more scoring, but I don't think your defense would have changed that much.
Mm-hmm.
But if they score, La Familia is not in transition as much.
Right, but the threes that Santi's getting in the half court set is my thing. Because that's
But a
still
lot of them
happening.
were off of steals and off of that
And
transition.
they're getting a lot of layups, too.
There weren't a lot of half court set. La Familia takes the ball, they move. Let's run an
I think
offense.
it's also that cushion
Everything's
that they're
quick.
getting as far as scoring. Like they're up by 10 by now, up by 12. That's a more comfortable 3 to take than being only up by 2. He's not taking that comfortable 3.
Yep, pressure's then on.
Yes.
And now you're at each other a little bit more. You're more agitated.
Yeah.
And
No,
you
it's
guys only forced, you only forced 4 turnovers. That's a bad mix there, too. And then out of your 16 turnovers, 9 of them were steals.
Yeah.
That means you got 7 turnovers that were unforced somewhere.
Yeah.
Clean some of that up. The loss doesn't look as bad. That's the reality.
You guys are in a good spot where all you have to do is beat the Magicians, and you're in.
Yep.
So you have one more game to worry about. You could even lose to the Makos. You beat the Magicians in the final week. You're in. You win this week. You're in.
Yep.
So you're in a very good spot. You just got to get one of the 2 wins now, and you make it to the playoffs. And then that conference, very tight. Is Vaughn coming back? That's the question that we want to know.
So the big news there is Vaughn will be coming back for the next game.
Okay.
And he is done for the rest of the season.
Wow.
Oh shit. Okay.
So Vaughn, shout out to Vaughn. We love you. He's doing some adulting stuff, being able to obviously take care of himself before he can take care of others. He loves basketball, so I know this is really tough for him to not come and join us. And, obviously going forward towards the playoffs. But he said, hey, one more last game, I can give it that. And then after that, I got to take care of home and then make sure I'm good and then be ready for next season. So, we're gonna let him, show out this next game. Hopefully he shows up and does his thing like he normally does. And, we'll let him go and, wish him the best of luck. And obviously we love you. You always can come and show out and come to check us out. But, he definitely needs to take care of home. And that's most important when it comes to, obviously out of basketball is making sure you're good outside, out of this court.
Right.
Good for you, Vaughn. Proud of you.
I will see you season 6 after next week. Ron?
Now, if you guys make a run of the playoffs, I think Vaughn.
I'm sure he does a surprise show up.
If Vaughn showed up for the championship when he wasn't there, Vaughn's showing up. But,
showing up in a hoodie and then just takes it off as he walks in.
And goes out of jersey on
Listen, I love Vaughn 2K.
Rides in on a motorcycle. Like
They said my license was suspended. Not my motorcycle license.
got my endorsement, bitch.
Alrighty, game 4, the game everybody's been waiting on apparently.
Yeah.
I've got no graphic for this one, Eric.
Yeah, no graphics.
Oh.
I don't know why, but I know you lost by 21. So I can tell you that much. Did that footage earlier.
Reapers versus the Panthers. Reapers
Golly.
dropping 62, going over that 60.5 again.
Let me take your job. Eric, what do you think went wrong here? You guys were up by 8 going into the second half. You lose by 21. What do you think happened?
We stop attacking. We stop attacking the paint. That's exactly what happened. In the beginning, like I said, we were attacking. You guys are not very strong, like size-wise.
No,
so
definitely not.
The paint was like our home basically in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, we started to go away from that. We started shooting more. I don't know, off the first 2 minutes or whatever it was, you guys went on a 6-0 run. We felt like we had to start shooting because you guys are on a run. And I think that's kind of where like everything kind of just fell back a little bit on my part. Not the best performance on my part, playing wise and coaching wise. I was kind of like mentally, kind of like not in my best space, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of losing a lead, going down so much, kind of like messed with me a little bit. So I kind of feel like that played a part in it. But what did you see from your side, Sauce? You won. How did Phil look for you?
Well, Phil was doing a great job just being unselfish at first, but the reality was we would have liked for him to look for a shot a little more, and we got to do a better job making sure that we get him in rhythm. Toward the end of the game, he did. But starting from the beginning of the game, I felt that you guys came out in a 3-2. I had reffed the game last week where you ran 3-2 against the Magicians, so it wasn't something unfamiliar. And I really felt we got every single shot we wanted offensively, even though we were losing by 8 points going into the half. We just missed a lot of perimeter shots, with Sway being the only one getting into the paint and consistently in scoring there. Yeah. For you guys, you're right. You guys were getting layups, but part of that was also our defense. We were in man-to-man, and what we were doing was instead of switching, we would try to drop someone, and we weren't getting over quick enough. So you guys were doing a great job of getting to the basket in spite of that. So the adjustment we made at halftime was just switch everything. We take away the layup, and we just live with what happens from there. And your guys seem to fall into that trap a lot where I have space for a 3. It's like, well, yeah, that's by design. Like Ish getting a pick and roll, I'm going under the screen on purpose because I'll live with an Ish 3 as opposed to Ish getting to the basket because he had his 2 best games were getting to the basket. Mm-hmm. So over here on the Reapers, we try to take away what teams are comfortable with doing, which is why our games generally are low scoring. People have to figure out ways to adjust and find other ways to get points. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it came down to. We kept working through that 3-2. We were unselfish. Our offense from week 1 to now is completely different, both in personnel and in our mentality and the way we play. The ball moves around a lot more. Sway still is the one who produces the most points, but the points that he's getting now are much easier than they were in week 1 because we are moving the ball around. We take him off ball more than we did at first. But yeah, that zone, I personally would have adjusted at some point because we really were getting whatever shot we wanted. It was like first pass to the free throw line, defense collapses, next pass to the corner, there's no one there. Take the shot. If it misses, oh well. Just go play defense. Try again. Let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, we'll give you guys credit. You guys did a real good job trying to break the zone.
I appreciate it. And you know, your guys again. When you guys were going inside, there was a play where I got switched on to Steve, and
We're not taking advantage,
yeah, and I'm like, listen, I'm telling Steve, like Steve's like, yo, I'm like, Steve, don't even bother. Like, you know damn well they're not gonna call a post play here. So we're just there.
Yeah.
And then we just go.
Yeah.
There's a shot that goes up. We get the rebound. We're off and running. So
We talk about it all the time, but it's very frustrating. All right, Ghost, from your perspective, from the other conference, what did you see in that game?
You guys looked very good coming out, but I think your guys played in the suspense of seeing what Phil would be doing coming off the bench. Hey, do we get up, up enough before he gets off the bench and comes and does some damage, or are we just gonna sit here and be mediocre? And the moment he comes off, we're just gonna deal with what he throws at us. So at this point, I think you guys did a good job of moving the ball in the beginning. Fritz felt comfortable not having the pressure, but the moment Phil touched the floor, Fritz kind of like took it upon himself to go match 1-on-1 with Phil. And I'm like,
you mean when Fritz touched the floor?
Yeah, when Fritz touched the floor.
Yeah, after Eric took him out. And
Yeah. After the celebration, yeah. Shout out to Fritz hitting that buzzer beater going into halftime. Definitely a good way to go out, getting that energy going back in. But, Phil always puts that, kind of that 1v1 battle in there. Like when he's going out, he talks to your ear. And I'm sure he was talking to Fritz, getting in Fritz's head. And Fritz being, he can definitely score and definitely be that playmaker for the team. But there was a lot of questionable shots that I think that could have been a second pass, or he could have attacked the backs to draw two, dish it out to somebody to give them an open shot, have Steve the Kid or Austin or Dallas, attack the basket with him.
Another city in Texas.
San Antonio, Amarillo, whatever you want.
Houston, whoever it is. Somebody there. But get them more involved, and then I think there's a different outcome there. Him not going one-on-one with Phil. Yeah, him not going one-on-one with Phil makes it different. I think he took a lot of bad shots. Sway just exposing that, because now Fritz has to worry about Phil. Sway have the fun to go play on the playground, so to speak. He doesn't have to worry about Fritz coming playing, that one-on-one defense with him. And, Sway exposed that. Now you guys have to worry about Phil on the perimeter, leaving those wide open threes. Mm-hmm. You leave him out there, no hand up in his face, he's going to knock that down every time. So I think that was a big hit to you guys, having him just open on the top. You guys are worrying about Sway, because obviously that's what the Reapers, bring, is Sway. When Sway attacks, 9 out of 10 times he's scoring. And it's just hard to defend that. It's the same thing with Yusuf. He does that half stutter step, and either you foul or you play great defense. It's either one or the other. There's no in between. Mm-hmm. And once Sway got to his spot, and they exposed the mismatch on there, and it just was off and running from there. So you guys couldn't regroup in time to obviously make it a game.
You also let him get away with playing with 5 fouls for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
You guys attacked him 3 times from that point.
Yeah.
He did a great job defending Dallas, not fouling.
Kept shooting.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you're going to take threes, you're not going to get a foul on
Mm-hmm.
pretty much anybody. Put him in a pick and roll spot. Maybe you get 1 foul, then that's all you needed to get rid of him. But he was our most important player, in spite of the fact that really Phil didn't get going until halfway through the second half.
Yeah.
And at that point, once Phil got going, it was like, this is pretty much done. We only need one other person to score. We got Sway, and the team plays defense, so we're always impacting the game, even if the rest of us aren't scoring. That's one thing I wanted to instill in my guys from week 1. If we're not making shots, the reality is there's still other ways to make winning plays, and that's what the Reaper culture is about: is making plays to win the game, even if we're not making shots. And we helped out our boy Sway that way. And Phil came in, finally started hitting a few shots, and took us home from there.
And Mike, I know you was hoping for the Panthers to get it done.
No. No, why would I want you to win? I wanted them to win, so now if we win the next week, then we're playing for the number 1 seed and we have a playoff spot clinched.
Yeah, we have to drag the top teams down for the dogs, so they can get up.
You guys are working. I was working for the Reapers to be in the playoffs, and now you guys are working together. That's crazy. But
I don't know about working together, but
we're
just trying to win games.
Yeah, it's one game at a time.
Trying to take the Panthers out. Is that what it is?
I don't care who I take out. You guys can take the Goblins out in the last week. Doesn't impact me at all. As long as I'm in the playoffs, don't care who's in there with us.
Right.
How did the Phil accusation look to you?
What do you mean?
Acquisition.
Acquisition.
Yeah,
Oh, that. I mean, rough start, and then we saw Phil be Phil. I mean, he's great. He's a great basketball player. We all know that.
Yep.
I don't know if sitting the first 17 minutes, although he tried to come in 3 times during that 17 minutes, try to convince me to shorten the time.
How about now? No. Okay.
Yeah, no, Phil, 3 minutes, 3:09. Can I go? All right, Phil, you go in 3:09. You go in 3:09. Because technically it was 3:12 when he got there, because that's when the announcer said it in the other game. So 3:09 was fine.
Okay.
But no, Phil was cold, and then Phil made it a 21-point game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened. It was a close game. Phil started hitting shots. You guys had 0 response because you were forcing threes the whole second half as it was. You guys weren't hitting your shots. They were. You guys just never scored. You didn't score at all. I mean, would you have 12 points in the second half?
11.
Yep.
Yeah, like it was rough to watch.
Yeah.
Because you guys just and your demeanor was what was hard to watch.
Yeah.
You guys weren't the same energy as you normally were. You needed Bandana Berg hitting a 3, pulling him out. Those are the things that the Panthers need to be the Panthers. But STK's energy was not the same as it normally is. He normally is a great energy guy, kind of like a Big Bird, but a little bit psychotic in a different way. But he's effective on the court, and he wasn't this game to the same impact that he should have been against such a small team.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it sitting there, Steve the Kid. This is, I said it on the podcast last week. This is a game for Steve the Kid.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys fed him the ball, you worked inside out, you let Steve the Kid be the guy instead of the only shot that I think he took in the first half was a fadeaway jumper.
Yeah.
No, he had a couple
Mid-range,
of passes. He had a pass off a ish pass. A couple of shots inside.
Okay, but for the most part, he wasn't involved in the offense.
Yeah.
Where this is a game where Josiah is not a true big man, explicitly said does not want to play big. Steve the Kid enjoys playing big. Feed him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Let him work. Let him do. In this kind of a matchup, this is his kind of a game. And then he can pass the ball out. And now Fritz, Dallas, Gene can get open shots off of that because they're forced to collapse.
Didn't do you any favors that Dallas had 4 early fouls either. Because honestly, that's been your best player.
But he didn't get going.
Well, he could. How could he?
Yeah,
He did.
neither did Fritz.
Ish was non-existent that game.
Yeah.
Coming off of a great last Sunday.
But he had 2 games in a row. But what Ish is never consistently going to give you 20 points a game.
No, yeah.
I would say Ish can give you 10. He can average double digits in this league for sure. But he's not a 20-point game. And the fact that he did that and they won off of his back the last week, they can't rely on it. Just like my team can't rely on me being a leading scorer every single week. That's not Chef's better than me, AJ's better than me, Montel's better than me. I know this. Fritz is better than Ish. Dallas is better than Ish. I would argue Gene is better than Ish because he can shoot. He hasn't showed it in the league, but like just really showing the full potential of the team. So understanding that you're not going to be able to get that week in and week out with Ish. You can't rely on that. And he's going to do his best if the floor is open because other guys are involved.
Yeah.
That's when Ish can attack.
Yeah.
When he doesn't have to be the number one guy. If all eyes are on Ish, he's not going to be able to do what he did the 2 weeks prior. I mean, no discrediting what Ish did.
No.
But just being realistic with his situation on that team.
He needed a game to show up, and it definitely showed his skills, what he can do, and then...
He's a good player.
No, he's definitely a good player.
Yeah, definitely a good player.
Ish is my vote for MIP this season.
Arguably mine as well now. I think he's made that claim where he's in that conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
But the whole thing was we shot too many threes. We went 3 for 25 from the 3-point line.
Well, that's fucking horrible.
Terrible.
That's horrible.
Straight terrible.
That's how I was shooting the first half of the season, so don't worry.
Yeah, and then he drops like 9 on 9.
I
was like, yo, just let Mike shoot the threes, and all of a sudden he starts making them. I'm like, don't let him shoot threes anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened.
I don't know.
Now it's
He ate his
time
Wheaties
for
that morning.
the segment the people's waiting on. Parker Power Rankings.
Somebody give this man a...
Give him a ring.
There you go, Saucer.
All right.
Is it gonna be with Rui?
This
right
one?
there, yeah.
Can y'all see that?
Anybody going
Yeah,
crazy
you
in the chat?
You good, yeah?
I'll zoom it in, Sauce.
Okay.
What the hell are we doing?
What's going on, Parker?
Parker?
What the hell are we doing drinking fucking Crown Royal and Monster?
Yes.
Woo, yeah.
Cheers, Parker. Cheers.
It's the ghost.
Can y'all hear
turn
this?
it up? Yeah.
I got you. I don't know why Eric's got his on spy mode apparently.
Eric's a sneaky guy. Better watch out.
The Pink Panthers.
Better
Man.
watch out. Better watch
These are
out.
text messages.
We're talking power rankings. That's what we talk.
We're talking power rankings, Parker.
Are we ready to talk power rankings?
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
right.
Eric's ready to hear where the Panthers are.
All right. They're not super high. They're good, but that's okay. That's okay. We got good weeks. We got bad weeks. Starting at number 8, the people had the worst week. Sorry, Ghost Riders. Once you get mercy ruled, you guys, it looked rough. I know you guys were down Vaughn, and you're playing the top team in the league right now, but it was tough. It was a tough watch. The game just got blown open by somebody named Santi, who scored 30 points off the bench, shooting like 70%.
Brandon
like
Ash's favorite player.
Fucking nuts, bro. Every time he shot the ball, I was like, that's going in. Like, and then they do the press, and Mike Parker does his thing, and Braylon doesn't even have to stress that game. He can just kind of do his thing.
Just
and
post him.
that's scary when Braylon doesn't have to, like, really press. But Ghost Riders are 8. We'll see. We'll see in Vaughn's finale if Vaughn can show out, maybe bring the Ghost Riders up, maybe clinch that playoff spot. That would be really nice. That'd be a really nice goodbye present.
Please, Vaughn.
If he doesn't come back. Ooh. All right.
A little bit of ooze. A little bit of Oz.
7. Cheds. The Cheddar Gobs. The everlasting Gobstoppers. The Goblins. The Goblinos.
The one with 7 revealed.
Little fun fact. After week 4, when the Goblins are 4-0, I sent Dean a video of a Cheddar Goblin. What that is a goblin that throws up cheddar cheese on your mac and cheese. Since I sent that video, the Goblins haven't been able to win a game. Am I the reason for it? Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah. You're the curse.
Are they the Cheds? Are they the Cheddar Goblins every time they play bad? They are. I call them the Cheds still. Tough game to watch. Again, Dogs. You let a hot team in the Dogs, winning 2 in a row, now 3 in a row, come in and kind of dictate the game. I think they went up 9-0 pretty quickly in that game, and then the Goblins were never able to get it clicking until DeAndre came in, and DeAndre was like their only offense in the first half. Shout out DeAndre, I love you so much. But yeah, it seemed like even when that game was in striking distance down the stretch, the Goblins gave up. The Goblins gave up pretty, like, they went down 5, I think, with like 3 minutes left, and they're like, oh, yep, that's it. I'm glad Chief was able to dish some stuff out. I need him to be a little more aggressive on the offensive end, because right now it's just not doing it. Dean did get karate kicked in the knee, and that might be a season-ending injury. We're not sure. I don't know if that was the same leg where he got the thorn stuck in his foot. It may have been. It may have re-aggravated something. We're not sure.
We'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, but the Cheds are at 7. 6, the Pants. The Sex Pants.
Not the pants.
Yeah. It was all right.
The third one.
That may have been the most boring first half of basketball that everybody had, between the Reapers and the Reapers and the Panthers. But then once the Reapers blew it open in the second half, it was just over. There was nothing you guys could have done offensively. Unfortunately, there was no anything like that. And I apologize, Pants. Oh my god. Sorry, she wanted me to throw it.
What the fuck is that?
She's like, shut up about the Panthers and throw the fucking ball.
Goddamn
21-point lead.
I'll get you out the Panthers 6.
Still don't think you need
That's what she's
Dom. I
saying.
think you do.
God damn.
God damn it. He's only your first round pick.
It certainly helps.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
does
and
help.
then you
It
have
does
your performances that didn't happen last week, like your Ish performance. It didn't translate over. Your STK performance didn't translate over. Corbin got into foul trouble early, so it was very difficult. It was very difficult for you guys to get anything going offensively, and then you're trying to like make up for the difference in the second half, and you just don't hit your threes, and you don't hit your shots, and your offense goes kind of stagnant. And once your offense goes stagnant against the Reapers, they're going to expose like your best guys. So yeah, at least you're not 7 or 8, I guess.
There's a way to look at it.
That is.
We could be worse.
Could be
The
worse.
team that I think played with the most heart this weekend, the Magicians. Shout out Boogie. You got everybody to buy in.
Shout out Magicians.
With new pieces coming in and contributing. You think about like Steed, Sterling, fucking Jay Nola. They all came in and they just did their thing. They played really well. Gary played really well. All it took was one turnover and one absolutely ridiculous spinning 3-point shot from Brisky, and they lose that game. that just goes to show anybody can beat anybody on any given day. You got to come and bring your A game or you're going to get busted up. Magicians dominated most of that game. That's why they're staying pat at 5 against the second best team in the league, in my opinion. And yeah, good for them. Good for those guys. Everybody played very hard. Everybody, it's heartbreaking to lose like that, but it's also kind of encouraging. You're like, hey, we were one possession away from beating the second best team in the league. So keep your heads up, Magicians. I love you guys. 4. Oh man, Sauce, the Reaps.
We broke top 5. Look at that. We broke top 5.
Wow.
You guys played great basketball. I think people, again, forget that Phil was not allowed to play most of the first half. So you were basically playing the first half with like 1 or 2 subs.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to say it right now. I don't think there's a single player more important to their team than Sway is to the Reapers.
That is true.
I think Josue is my clear front runner for MVP. He is that good.
Cheers.
Week in, week out, creating. He had 30 points so smooth, so easily this weekend. I don't even know what to say.
80% almost.
As well as getting his guys involved offensively, as well as being your best, like one of your best defenders on the team.
Yeah.
Sway, I fucking love you. You're a goddamn dog, but you're a goddamn winning Reaper, and I'm proud of you guys. Reapers played really well. Phil looked good. He had to shake off some rust in the second half, but right when I think it was like a little less than 10 minutes left in the second half, he just started spraying.
Yeah.
3, and that's all you can do. You can't really do anything if you're the Panthers at that point. So shout out Reapers, great trade. I think both teams after that trade played really well, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a nice little shake up. It's a good time.
Thank you, my friend.
3 dogs. 3 weeks in a row have been winners. 3 weeks in a row they have been rising. And look at this now, number 3 in the power rankings this week. They look good. I do worry about chemistry with the dogs. I sat very close to their bench and smelled very close to their bench. The chemistry on the team wasn't there. Everybody was kind of frustrated with everybody, even when you guys were winning. I think that might be a scary sign when it comes down to playoffs, because when you're winning a game, you guys shouldn't be as frustrated with each other. You guys were pretty frustrated. I could see it with Mitch and Montel, and these things will happen. You guys were down your number 2 or your second round pick in Spank, and yeah, I mean, you're able to knock the Goblins off, but there needs to be that camaraderie, and it seems like some of that chemistry was lost in that game. But winners of that game, you move up. So, dogs, we need a better attitude, better deodorant next game.
Go fuck yourself.
All right.
All right.
Two corner, but going to be the same. Mako's 2. I know last week I was here talking about how I think the Makos have made a point of cutting into that, like, Mako's La Familia, like maybe they closed the distance. And then on Sunday, they immediately opened that distance right back up.
Yep.
They did not play their game, and Brisky was 0 for 9 from about 30 feet out, so he just kept chucking it for some fucking reason. Of course, he would be the one to shoot the last shot, spinning, falling away.
Always ready.
Kyson was right next to me, and Kyson's like, why is Yusuf inbounding? And I go, Kyson, the scariest person is the inbounder.
You know,
And
this
he
is
goes,
basketball.
I guess. And then immediately gets the dribble handoff.
Parker.
From,
I guess is crazy.
Parker,
I guess he's the most dangerous. Whatever.
Parker,
I
let me
mean, I
ask you
guess.
this.
But,
Parker, let me ask you
the
this. Mike
dribble
Mitchell
handoff
believes so.
from JP, and the rest is history. It was clean. We looked at the review immediately. Clean.
What, is Mike Mitchell
Coach
fighting
Stone
it?
also
No, he
great
was
job
like,
on the
it's-
score.
it was like 5
The clock
seconds.
does not start until he
Like,
touches
you
the ball,
said-
Yeah.
and then
Dude,
he
no.
gets it off clean. Huge shot of the season so far.
Eric's got a question for you, Park.
Let's hear it, E.
Do you think that last shot was like 5 seconds?
No, we have the time.
No, we have.
It was literally, it was perfect. It was actually
As long as
quite
it's
perfect.
seconds, Mike
Absolutely
Parker.
Shout out Tone, man. Shout out Tone being the
Yeah.
best person on the clock.
Shout out
Couch
yourself.
of
Shout
the
out
year,
yourself.
sports
Couch of the
year.
Couch of the year.
Couch
God
year.
damn it. Be
But
careful sitting
yeah,
on that.
it felt like the Makos weren't really playing their game. They were playing down to the Magicians a little bit. And the Magicians will bust you up. They got some fucking energetic guards on that team. They'll just fucking run at you.
Eric's got to drink more after Sunday,
Yeah.
apparently. He's having a rough
Me and
one.
you
Stop
gotta
drinking
go.
Monster and Crown Royal.
yeah.
He's just going to start swinging on ghosts. They're friendly right now.
Everybody in that room. He's just gonna
We're not in the same conference, so it's okay.
No, that's
God
true.
damn it. God damn it. Also, my MIA for the season is J-Ball, missing in action.
There we go.
Next.
Free
He was
J-Ball.
in the chat. This motherfucker's in the chat saying free J-Ball. Motherfucker, you're free. You quit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking killing
It's all
me,
good.
J-Ball. God damn it.
What are we on now?
J-Ball, come
and
back.
Reaper Not showing up.
The Reapers need you. They're shorthanded. next
We
week.
needed you not to quit on us, is what we needed.
Yeah, you're coming back, J-Ball.
If there was a time to come back, now
It's this week. They're winning.
Listen, if there's a comeback, he's probably packing up. So there's that.
There you go. Yeah. If they're winning and he's not in the game, you're fucked.
we need that J-ball corner 3.
That's it.
Number one, La Familia. They were flexing hard on the Ghost Riders.
What a shock.
God damn it. I thought they were going to break 100 this game. I called it. They
They were
got
close,
90.
man.
No, I
They
would've punched
just look
some.
scarier and scarier every single week. The things Santi's able to do on a basketball court in a bench role is fucking insane. He just cannot miss. It's fucking crazy. And you can feel the swagger. And again, a game where Braylon really doesn't have to like stress or flex that hard is such a win for La Familia, because you're like, oh, it's all good. That means when they start pressuring everybody else, Braylon will just fucking go off because he might be the most unguardable player in the league. I don't know how you beat this team. If anybody in any playoff scenario can beat this team, they'll probably win the championship. But number one, couch of the year, statistician of the year, score keep of the year, Coach Tone, riding high with his flying Coach Tones, the fighting Coach Tones.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody thinks I'm wrong, fuck you. And can I just say one more thing? Celly Nation, I was back this week after a long hiatus. It felt so good to be able to talk to everybody. Everybody was so kind, and they had such kind things to say, and I really appreciate it. And I love you all.
I love you, buddy. We love you, Parker.
Love you, Parker.
I love you guys.
Big
Hey,
guy, right?
Parker,
it's a
before you
brotherhood.
go.
Remember that.
Before
And
you go.
sisterhood. Fuck it. The traveling hands, maybe.
There we go.
I'm reading it.
God damn it, man.
Parker,
All right, you sickos.
before you
Don't
go,
stay
Parker,
up all
before you
night
go.
and drink Monster and Crown Royal, you fucking sick bastard.
Eric wants to tell you something in a
Before you go,
monster fueled rage. He's got a question for
Oh my
you.
god. Everyone give him about 10 feet.
We know you hate giving predictions, but do you have a prediction to win it all? Since you're kind of like our
La
unbiased
Familia.
person.
He says La
Next question.
Familia.
La Familia. Oh.
Next question.
He's going record
We'll talk to you later.
and coaching.
Not the answer I was looking for.
All right, my
Oh,
friend.
Mike, the script is in. You guys, the script is in. After dropping 5, winning 5 in a row.
No.
Shut that shit up. You shut that shit up now, Parker.
Parker, we wrote that in confidentiality, all right?
Well, guess what? I'm a whistleblower.
Get the shit out of here.
Throw the
All right,
phone.
Parker.
Peace.
Oh shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck you, 7. Bye.
Appreciate it, Parker. Oh. All right, now let's talk about some conference standings. Now let's go over it real quick. In the Orange County, Osceola County, we've got the Goblins first with a 4-4 record. You got the Panthers in second, 4-4 also. And then you got the Reapers in 3-5. And then in the elimination spot, you got the Dogs also 3-5. Now in the Orange Conference, you got 2 teams already clinching playoffs with the Makos
Clinching
and La
ass
Familia.
cheeks.
Huh?
Sorry. Go on.
It's the monster.
You got La Familia at 7-1 at that number 1 spot. You got the Makos in 2 at second. And then you got the Ghost Riders in third with 3-5. And then the Magicians right behind them, 2-6. Now, Mike, you want to go over
27.
the breakdown of the playoffs, like who gets eliminated and who's in, real quick.
Yeah, so if you look at the playoff picture here, the one underneath the thing that says elimination is the one that's eliminated. So the bottom seed would get eliminated. In this situation in Orange County, what we're looking at. Ghost Riders already have the win over the Magicians. I don't know what you guys beat them by the first time, but in order for it to go to anything other than point differential of the matchup, it would have to be a all-around tie. So say the Ghost Riders beat the Magicians in their first appearance by 10. Next time, Magicians beat them by 10 and they have a tie. It would go to overall point differential. The way that it's looking right now, Ghost Riders just need to win one more game. They secure their spot in the playoffs. In the Osceola Conference, it's a lot more complicated. Now, the Goblins do sit at number 1. You see that they're tied with the Panthers at number 2 because they have the tiebreaker. Those two teams meet in Week 10, the final week. Seeds 3 and 4. Reapers have the tiebreaker over the Dogs, but as you see, we both have the same record. And where do we meet? Week number 10. So if all things remain the same, Week 10 will be the deciding factor of a lot of things in this division. Now, there is a scenario because the Reapers play the Goblins and the Panthers play us next week that all teams in the Osceola Conference are 4 and 5 after this week. If that happens, how it would look is the Reapers would sit at number 1, the Dogs at number 2, the Goblins at number 3, the Panthers at number 4. Because the Goblins have the win over the Panthers. The Goblins currently have the win over the Reapers, but they do not have the tiebreaker over the Dogs anymore. So if the Dogs win the next game against the Panthers by 2 or more, since the Panthers won by 1 in their first matchup, we automatically clinch a playoff spot. The Reapers, I'm not sure what you beat or what you lost to the Goblins by in your first matchup, if you know that off top sauce.
It's like 6 or 9, some shit like that.
Okay, so if you beat them by more than that, you would have the tiebreaker over them and clinch yourself a playoff spot, and it would put us in a spot where Goblins and Panthers are playing then to be eliminated, and the Dogs and the Reapers are then playing for the number 1 seed. So this conference is extremely tight. The Orange Conference not as exciting right now, but the Osceola Conference, I said it last week, it is basically like playoff games for these last 3 weeks of the season.
It's fire over here, yo.
Yes, sir.
Straight pressure.
Yeah, is there no surprise that the veteran captains coming in, rounding it out at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not worried about how it starts. We're worried about how we finish over here.
Hey, yo.
It goes. It goes. Quick question.
What's
All
up?
right. In the Osceola Conference, since you're not in that conference.
Yeah.
If the Dogs were to make it, who do you see them taking that third spot over? The Reapers, Panthers, or the Goblins?
The way it's playing out,
Yeah.
it looks like the Goblins fall down. You guys go up. Looks like the Reapers, with having Phil involved, go up as well. And I think Dogs go into that third spot with the Goblins being knocked out of playoff contention. That's just me looking forward. It's just a trend. That's what's going on. It's what we've seen week in and week out. Dean, I love you. I think you can pull it off and come back. But this is obviously the field that you need to obviously understand that you guys were doing things good in the beginning. Stop focusing on the negative. Let's focus on what you guys did good and obviously clinch your spot. Obviously get back in there and start winning some games. It's fun to win and it sucks to lose. And I think once your team started losing, they started losing faith, and they started, not having fun playing basketball. And that's the biggest thing here is having fun playing this game. Once you're having fun, you're deadly because then there's no pressure. You're just going out and doing your thing. So I think obviously the Dogs clinched their spot because they're having fun now winning, and that's contagious. And it's all who wants to win it more at that point. So I think the Dogs want it more, being that they were down so long and they've been the underdogs, no pun intended. And they clinch their spot, and they give a team in the playoffs a run for their money. That's just me.
I also want to hear it in the chat too. Who do you think is going to make it? Who do you think the Dogs going to take it from? The Goblins, Panthers, or the Reapers?
We gotta win. Nobody's taking it from anybody. We gotta win. There is no, if we can get it, then it's a different situation. But nothing's guaranteed. We have to win our next game, and then we're in a position where we can talk that. But right now, it's game by game. And that's the way it's been since we were 0-5. So there's no guarantees, there's no anything. I think at this point, anybody can make it from our conference, anybody can be eliminated, and that's the fun part.
For sure.
If you're going off momentum, Goblins obviously have the worst trajectory, but you guys are the most inconsistent team. To blow a team out and then get blown out, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. Simply, you don't. You have no fucking clue. You have zero, like...
What are you doing?
There's no consistency.
What are you doing?
There's no
What are you
fucking
doing, man?
consistency. How do you get blown out that bad?
We're playing basketball. What
Yeah,
the fuck
God
are you
damn it.
doing?
Are we just posting on Instagram?
Oh my god! How
Because it
many
could
free
be either
throws
one
can
of
we
those.
post?
You got a great Panthers IG, but what else
God.
you got going for you, Eric? You better make it to the playoffs.
Great pro
Great
wrestling.
basketball is coming up these next few weeks, man.
I hope
Great
so.
basketball. But same question for the Orange County. How do we feel about the Magicians? Because they can only take it from the Ghost Riders. How confident are you in the Magicians sauce?
It's tough because they don't have a conference win, right?
No.
Let me see. No conference wins. Yeah.
Well, we didn't count those, which I guess we
Yeah.
probably should have, but we went to point differential
Yeah, it's
out of
just-
habit from last season.
It's tough because at the end of the day, if you have Vaughn and Trey, because it's next
But
week,
they
right?
don't. No, it's last week of the season. They don't have Vaughn.
You guys don't have him next week then?
No,
We have
2
them next
weeks.
week.
They
But
have
the
them
week
next
we
week.
go
They play
against...
the
Okay.
They play the
Makos
Makos
next, yeah.
week.
I like what I saw out of the Magicians last week. If they can build on that, I mean, they only have to win out against you guys. That's
Yeah.
one. That's on a one-game basis. If they can put it all together, if Mike Mitchell can just take 3 left threes, more in rhythm, sure. I want to lean toward the Ghost Riders though, just because they have the continuity. And watching you guys play, what I've told all the other captains also consistent is like your claim to being a good captain was how you've gotten those guys to just play with energy.
Yeah.
How you've gotten the most out of everybody. Axel especially. The development of Axel this season and Kyson too, the way he fits on your team. There's a togetherness to you in spite of that blowout last week that I feel you can carry on into just winning one more game and getting to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And also having a guy like Trey, anything can happen. And I don't see anybody on the Magicians that can handle him. And then if
Chile.
you,
It's
Chile-
an interesting matchup.
It is an interesting matchup.
But then you leave your boards vulnerable because of Axel and Chan.
yes.
So if you have to
Yeah.
dedicate Chile to such a large task,
Yeah, if Chile's out of
makes
the
it hard.
if Chile is out of the paint, which is probably where he'll end up because Trey likes to work in the perimeter,
Yeah.
then Chan and Axe will kind of have freedom
Free
to just
reign.
get
Free
any
reign.
rebound they want.
Yep.
And it's not like they're gonna get it and go put it up themselves. They're gonna they're gonna grab it. There's a wide open 3 somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I trust the Ghost Riders more to finish out and maintain that 3rd seed, but I'm not going to sleep on the Magicians either based on what I saw last week because it came down to a use of ridiculous shot,
Yeah.
which means there's something there to build on for the
And the
Magicians.
two guys you guys traded, you talk very highly of them. Too.
I love those two
Yeah,
guys.
no,
And
that's
Sterling,
great,
listen,
yeah.
and again, I know some people laugh about it. Like, well, if you love him so much, why'd you trade him? It's like it's
Yeah.
Phil. Like, what
Yeah.
am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
You, Sterling, Shakespeare, and Jacob Nolan both work hard on both ends of the floor. Regardless of what the stats look like as far as the 3-point shooting, it doesn't matter what kind of day they're having. They're going to give you everything they've got. Sterling's development from week 1 to now, he's not the same player. He was someone that would pull up a lot at first, and
more
now
comfortable.
He's much more comfortable
Yeah.
now, and just he's more comfortable with, not only in a team sense, but just within himself.
Yeah.
Understanding, I'm good when I go to the basket. I can get rebounds. I can defend. If I do all these things, I can make winning plays. And even if my shot outside isn't falling, I'm gonna make plays to try to help to win the game. And same thing with Jacob Nolan. If you put them both on the floor together, you're gonna have good offense and you're gonna have good defense, and they're never gonna be the problem. And that's the benefit of having those two. Brandon Steed coming into them also, like, pause. Brandon Steed coming over to the
There
team.
you go.
Yeah. Brandon Steed coming coming over to the Magicians. I like the acquisition because at any given time you got 3 to 4 guys that are gonna do their best defensively. If you have Sterling Shakespeare out there with Steed, with Chile, and Jacob Nolan as well, and Gary even, like, those guys try.
and Boogie.
And Boogie, yeah, when Boogie's out there, that guy's, I mean, he's a psychopath. He's going to give you everything he's got, and it doesn't matter what's going on. But yeah, it's going to come down to, personally, chemistry. And the Ghost Riders have more of that than the Magicians do, by virtue of having only 2 players from season 1, or from week 1. And that's my 2 cents.
All right. Now let's talk about some Rookie of the Year candidates. Now we're into week 8. Now, question, Mike.
Talk to me.
When we're doing the season awards, do we just take into season play or do we take in the playoff play also?
Seasons.
Just
Regular
Yeah,
season
so
awards.
week 10.
after week 10, probably Tuesday, I'll give us time to do the stats.
Okay.
I'll have Mitch update the algorithm and give us the season stats and whatnot. After, I would probably say Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to put everything live for voting. Give us 2 days. And then from there, we'll have everything announced. So it's going to be only regular season voting, just like the NBA would be.
Okay. So we're week 8, going into week 9. So we have like 2 more weeks left. So I wanted to talk about Rookie of the Year. So I've got 3 dudes that I think are candidates. Now I'm just going to say them now. If you think if there's somebody else that should be mentioned, just let me know. First off, I got Mike Parker from La Familia. Feels he's balling out, having a good season. You also have Trayvon from the Ghost Riders. Of course, you got to put him up there. And then we got Juan. Not in a specific order, just those 3.
Okay.
Now, Ghost, do you think there's somebody else I'm missing in that conversation?
For MVP of the year,
Rookie of
Rookie of the year. I think the most impactful would have to either be between a tie between Mike and Trey. Just being that every time they're on the floor, they make an impact. It's just, when Trey's on the floor, he's always, even with, starting in a slump of shooting 0 for 6, he then drops 31 points in the game, shooting 0 for 6 without even coming in to warm up, was crazy. And then, obviously you get Mike Parker where he gets 8 steals a game and makes a big impact in the game and sways the game and still gets his buckets to drop, scoring like 8 or 9 points or even double digits at a time. It's just, obviously with him showing that, being his first year in the league, just shows like good promise. And him being younger, Trey obviously has more season, more obviously knowledge of the game, so it comes easier to him. But obviously Mike Parker being young and deadly and still more athletic and being very hungry to learn what the league is giving him. There's a very tough matchup there. Juan, I would say he's definitely a candidate. But for me, as a first round pick, he didn't show me that wow.
Yeah.
And that's just me being honest. I know he has that wow factor, but every time when you see outside in street ball, it doesn't translate to organized basketball. And there's no shade to him or what he's capable of doing. It's obviously the team he's matched up with. If they don't get him the ball, get him involved, hype him up, get him going, say, Juan, we need you to carry us. Let's get him involved. And I'm sure Dean does that, but obviously there's no correlation there on him actually taking that and running with it. And that's why you don't see him at the top 2. He's definitely a top 3 candidate for it, but I think it's a big run between Trey and Mike, but I think Trey takes it at that point between the 2, just in scoring. Because he's just a natural scorer when it comes down to it.
What do you think, Sauce?
Anybody
else you want to add?
Dre from the Goblins.
Oh yeah.
From what I see, when he has a good game, they generally win. He's not their best player, but he's been their most important one. Juan has all the talent in the world. He's obviously their best player, but again, it's who's there consistently. So if I'm talking about just the 3 between Trayvon, Juan, and Mike, I'm probably going to have to go with Mike, just because of the impact that he has on that team on both sides of the floor. He's a facilitator. They go as he goes defensively, because there's not a lot of defensive players outside of John Kerry. There's not a lot of defensive players on La Familia's team, and we still view them as a solid defensive team. It's solely because of what Mike Parker does on that side of the floor. He's the head of that press, and if you can get by him, you break it. But if you can't, he's probably going to get 5 to 9 steals. Easy. And then on top of that, he's being aggressive offensively. I've never seen him walk. I've never seen him jog. Yep. It's 100% all the time, to the point where you have to take him out of the game. Yeah. He's not going to come out on his own. So that would be my Rookie of the Year choice out of those guys. Also, with the expectation of those guys. The expectation for the first pick in the draft is more than a 6-point game, than an 8-point game, regardless of the situation going on. Because at the same time, Mike Parker's working with, I got to find my points, and I have to be a leader when I'm on the same team as Santi and Braylon. And even still, you can carve out the fact that I made my impact on the game with the potential MVP and the potential 6th man of the year. And I'm still making plays, and there's a reason that we're 7-1, and I'm a huge part to do with that. In a league that he's never been a part of. Yeah. So that's,
and he's 19 years old. And he's the youngest player in the league.
And there you go. And he's the youngest player in the league. So I would lean toward Mike Parker. Yeah, those other guys... The reason I would vote against them is Trayvon missed a few games also. But part of that is, the expectation. I expect more out of those 2 than I did going into it with Mike Parker as a 19-year-old. So shout out to Mike Parker. Shout out to Tone, putting him in positions where he can succeed. And he saw that early on. He saw it in the tryouts. And he was like, oh, I know what to do with that guy.
Yeah, I was right next to Tone, too, when he was like, I need Parker.
Yep.
I need Mike Parker.
Yeah.
Mike.
I think the only other 2 names I would add, John Kerry and Chef.
Yep.
I think that
Chef too, yeah.
those 6 guys are all, Dre included, those 6 guys are all the standouts from the season 5 draft, if you want to put it like that, as this draft class. And Chef has been pivotal for our team. Last 2 weeks, not as much scoring, but he still had 6 assists this game. He's doesn't turn the ball over that much. He's very smart, and he helps the team settle down the team. The reason why I would go with Mike Parker is the record. He's a huge part of why that team is successful. Although he's been on and off scoring, not consistently double digits throughout the season, it's what you said, the defensive end. And that's why I put John Kerry in that conversation, because you're saying Mike Parker's getting these steals. A lot of those steals are Mike Parker and John Kerry at the head of that press. And then John Kerry's coming back on the opposite side of the court and playing down low big man against the bigs in our league.
And he'll get a rebound and be the first one back for a while.
He's finishing probably over 70% with putbacks. Like, he is a force down low for a guy that is 5'10".
Yeah.
Like,
he surprised me a lot.
Talking about him like he's 6'8".
Yeah, exactly. He's playing huge for his size, and that's a guy that I think needs more credit than what we get. And we say his name. It's not that we don't give him credit. He gets overshadowed by Mike Parker. He gets overshadowed by Santi, and he gets overshadowed by Breland. But I think they don't have John Kerry. They're not 7-1.
That's their glue guy.
Yes, 100%. I think he's one of their most important pieces, and that's another guy that I would throw in that Rookie of the Year candidate. I love Trayvon's game. I think the same thing that you said. I think that because he missed a handful of games, I know it was only 2.
Yeah.
I believe 2. That hinders, for me, getting the vote. For the best ability is availability. The cliche saying goes.
But is he still does he still qualify to get votes? If he,
as long as it's 6 games or more.
Okay.
6 games or more is the qualifications for All-Stars, for everything like that. Braden obviously got upset last season. He didn't play over half the games.
So 6 or more.
6 or more. It has to be over 50%, so 60% or more. If I was voting today, I would vote Mike Parker.
Same.
I think we're all in agreement there, though.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some prediction. Oh, actually, any comments in the chat? Anybody think otherwise? Anybody else they want to add?
Shout out Kyson. He said shout out Mama Scalco. I know she's watching. She is watching. Thank you, Kyson. We love you.
Mama Scalco, what's up?
Shout out to my mom. Oh, she just said Heart Kyson. There you go. I didn't know she knew how to type on this thing. She's never typed on here.
She's like, I've been waiting for this moment.
For sure. Somebody said hello. There you go. There you go, Mom. Don't sleep on Trey. Honestly, yeah. Trey has been playing way better. No, not Trey.
Trey from the Magicians.
Trey from the Magicians.
Yes.
Number 30.
Yes. He has played way better. The thing, going back to the matchup with you guys and the Magicians, that's something that I noticed watching that they'll have a hard time with. They have arguably the smallest lineup. When you have G, Brandon Steed, and Trey, who are all 5'6", and then Chili is your big man at 6 foot, and Mike Mitchell is your power forward, or Boogie at 6 foot, 6'1", you're really tiny. That's probably the smallest team in league history. If we're really looking at that in that way, and that's just not being. That's just being honest.
Reality.
Yeah. So I think that you having Chan, the Choo Choo Train, Axel, Trayvon, they're gonna have some trouble with that size. Unless they can speed you up like Familia did, but they don't have the coordination that Coach Tone has on his Familia team. So the chat's pretty,
I think they all agree.
It's a pretty calm day for them today.
Yeah, they're talking the shit, but that's okay.
Keeping the shit talking to a minimum.
Well, Steve's not in there right now.
My girlfriend's not in here. There's no girlfriends fighting. Past 2 weeks have been the girlfriends going at it.
Oh my god.
Who was the
We don't know who Local Hoopers is.
We so funny.
Yeah, we still.
Local Hoopers.
There's still some conspiracies out there. We don't think it's Darvis because of the grammar.
You make it fair. Come on.
But it could be a couple of guys.
Yeah.
We don't know. I tried to go in and Google the account and it doesn't pop up.
Of course not. Local Hoops is not.
I think that would be Noah because he's the only one smart enough to do something where I can't find
Shout
him.
out to
But
You think Local Hoops is pulling up to the games?
I hope he is. Hey, you know what?
We all are
Why
here.
not?
Oh, there we go.
Actually, the channel is actually 3 subscribers away from
I know, man. 500.
500.
Yes.
More money than I have in my first.
Oh, okay.
If this is your first time watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Please,
All right,
we
that's
need
the
3
500.
more. I want to get 500. Then we need 500 more so that we can start making some money off of
Yes.
YouTube.
There you go.
Please.
So you don't have to rely on bets.
Oh my God! So we don't have to rely on Steve the Kid and Kyle King's gambling addiction to pay for the league dues.
Facts.
All right, let's get some predictions in here. Now, Week 9 matchup, Game 1.
Sauce, what the fuck are you looking at?
I don't know,
God
man.
damn it, Jake Paul.
Free Jake.
Why did you take this fucking shot?
I don't know, man.
Half court.
We got Juan and the Goblins going up against Sauce and the Reapers. Game 1. The Goblins won the last.
We got a
matchup.
subscriber. 2 more.
Hey! Shout out to TNV. What was
I
it?
think that's
Nation?
Trey. Shout out Trey.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Trey.
But yes, the Goblins. We're not too sure. We're gonna say the Goblins won the last matchup by 10. So the Reapers
Somewhere
are looking
around
to
there.
win about 11 or more. Ghosts, who do you got winning? The Reapers or the Goblins?
The people want more award predictions when we're done.
More award prediction?
Yeah, when we're done.
There's
When we're
more
done.
awards than Rookie
But
of
go
the
ahead.
Year.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead,
think
Ghost.
the Reapers in a good place. You know, obviously the Goblins being down and having that losing streak going on. I think the Reapers can capitalize on that. Having Phil makes them that much more deadly. But Phil is a two-edged sword. You know, when he doesn't get the calls from the refs, he definitely lacks on defense, and then you got a 4 and 5 break,
Yeah.
and Phil's coming back. So if Sauce can manage that properly, keep him in the game, keep his head up, don't let the refs dictate the game. I think the Goblins crumble and don't obviously have that offensive burst that they need. If Juan shows up to play and Dre shows up to obviously get those open shots and knock them down, it can be a game. It can be a really good game. And I think it's it's going to come down to their stars. Sway getting to the line, what he loves to do. It'll definitely come down into those free throw moments. Don't let it come down to a Mako's kind of make or break last moment shot. But I definitely think Reapers come over. I think 5+. I think they win by 5.
Mike, who do you think?
Who are you missing? You're missing Josiah and you're missing Noah.
Yeah.
Are you planning to drink at the wedding?
No.
You're not drinking?
Not at the wedding, no.
Neither am I.
Drink for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead. Jack,
yeah,
go
wait.
ahead. So,
The day before?
Yeah, BDM's wedding. Shout out BDM. Shout out
BDM.
Shannon.
Shannon,
Shout out you guys.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We will be in attendance.
No
Friday
impact.
for the
We'll talk
rehearsal
about it on
dinner. I'm going to
Sunday.
get all my drinks.
there you go.
Right, there you go.
Saturday. Well, I had a wedding 3 weeks ago, and I drank very minimal, but I drank, and normally my superstition is to never drink or smoke the day before a
You
wedding.
did amazing.
And so
I did both.
I drank or the day before a game, excuse me.
Yeah.
So I drank a little bit, played awful.
Awful.
God damn.
Hey, get out of here.
Hey, you're fucking awful. And then I'm like, listen, if I play good in these next 2 weeks between the next wedding, I'm not going to drink. And I have my 2 best games of the season. So
It's amazing what you can do when you just protect your body.
can't drink. It's unfortunate because, it's open bar, but not going to drink. So if you're
What a
not
waste.
drinking,
What do I?
Brandon Nash will drink for me. Don't worry.
Don't drink for all of us.
Don't you worry.
Don't
There's
you
plenty
worry.
of fish in the sea.
Oh my God.
If you're not drinking, that makes things more interesting. I gotta go Reapers. You guys have the momentum. The Goblins are just, and I'm sure I'll see Juan. Hopefully tomorrow I'll see Juan, and we'll get shots up and we'll talk, and hopefully I can help him help his team get into a better spot. But they seem broken. They seem really broken. When you're pointing fingers, when there's no real solution, when Dean's taking bad bitch photos in California instead of coaching his team, these are the issues that the Goblins have. Cheddar Goblins got to get it back together. They're looking like American cheese goblins, and it's not looking really good for the Gobs right now. Get Trey the ball, get Juan the ball, let Chief facilitate, and just play the game that you played the first 4 weeks. I got Reapers.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going Goblins. I'm going to go Goblins. Reason why? I think Juan's going to be too big for you guys. What do you got?
God damn it.
But yeah, definitely going Goblins. I think Juan's going to be too big. If Juan's coming out with the mentality of attacking every time, I feel like he's going to be too big for you guys in the paint. The Goblins also do a very good job.
Mike sat there with a full cup the whole time.
I know.
Yeah,
My cup's too full. This is my fucking 4th cup.
It's that Reaper drink, yo. It's that Reaper
yeah.
drink.
Hell yeah!
But I do think the Goblins, they'll move the ball around a little too much because they play a pretty good percentage of team ball.
Mhm.
And I feel with you guys, you have to play team ball going up against you guys because you're so good defensively. If you're trying to go up against that match of 1v1 and not moving the ball and use your teammates asking for screens, it's going to be very hard. But I think they do such a good job of doing it. And I know they're on a losing streak, but I know they also know that these next 2 games are very important playoff games. So maybe Juan, like you said, going to get some shots up during the week.
Well, he's definitely gonna get shots up. He has a shot. He has a court right across.
He does it every. Yeah, he puts in work.
So he will get.
It's not Juan's issue.
It's just-
Dean needs to show up too. Dean can shoot the ball. Dean needs to show up
Dean's
as well.
taking selfies, all right?
Yeah,
He's having
Dean
people
needs to
take
show up,
pictures
take
from the
out the
balconies.
Do I need to pull it up again?
Yeah, show him the video in the water. Show him the video in the water.
No, not the video. No.
Not the video.
My boy Dean. Man.
Subscribe to his
There we
OnlyFans.
But if Juan's attacking, I feel like that's going to be huge.
Oh my God.
God.
That's Dean.
Look at that.
No, wait till the waves take him out. Right in the knee. I don't know what's worse, the waves or AJ.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
So we got
fucking psycho.
Oh, shit.
But the pod is
We love you,
going,
Dean.
Reapers for the win. Now, game 2. We got the Ghost Riders taking on the Makos. Last time these dudes matched up, we got the Makos winning. Not too sure. I think it was
The ref that helped him that? No.
What a great graphic of Chan. I love Chan in this picture. He just looks so ready for it.
So
God
Shout
damn
out
it.
Chan, brother.
I love
But
Chan.
yeah, I think
Chan's having a great
the
season.
Makos actually won by like
4.
less than 5.
We were up at 20 points at one
Yeah,
point,
man.
and then
I do remember
our
Yusuf
players
hitting that buzzer
let the
and
ref dictate the flow of the game. They took themselves out. They played into what the Makos wanted to do, and they came back. And once they came back, they're like, "Oh shit, we can lose right now." And we came off a big win from the night before or the week before, and we thought we were unstoppable. So it definitely humbled us. It showed us that even you can go up 30 or 20 and still lose a game. It's just it's discipline at that point. And being I've played in an organized league. I know that refs play a big part in the games, but you can't let it take you off your game.
Yep.
And a lot of our players fed into that. Vaughn, fed into that. Axel fed into that. Chan fed into that. They always like to fight with the refs, which is okay. If you're right, you're right, and you're wrong. But at the end of the day, we gotta let the scoreboard speak for itself. Just go out there and play ball, and once you play good ball, the refs can't say nothing about that. So I think we lost that one for good reasons.
And to add to that point, a lot of people think it's just like the refs. It's actually like your opponents also. Like you have Yusuf on the other side, who's also going to be talking shit to you also. So that also adds to it.
And Kyle, shot down.
And Kyle, yes,
Smart
you
man.
can. Kyle is very sneaky with it.
At the end of the day, I know a lot of guys have issues with our refs, but there's no amount of bad reffing that can undo good basketball.
Facts.
And that's the problem. It's really hard for our guys to admit when they're just playing poor basketball. And what's the easiest person to place the blame on?
The ref.
The lead pros over
Yeah.
there, So yeah, let's try to clean that up. You're absolutely right. My team's the same way though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, once
Everyone
Every
does.
team.
Everyone's
Yeah,
guilty
every
of
team,
it,
yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, if everyone just realizes that the refs are obviously a big part of what happens, but if you just play your game and just ref, I appreciate it, just look out for the next one, and just be the better person, the rest will obviously play in your favor and
It'll
obviously
even
help
out,
you
man.
out and see for and look for those things instead of bitching at them. Like, stop bitching. Like, I play as a player and I'm as a ref as well, and when you go down to it, when the moments that count, hopefully you count on the ref being at the right place at the right time to make that call, and it could save you the game. So just play through it.
Yep.
So what you got, Ghost Riders or Makos? Makos winning the last matchup by less than 5.
So Mako's, as good as they can be offensively, they're not the greatest defensive team. And I think with the Ghost Riders, who you guys, there's not a lot of structure to what you guys do. And I think when you already don't play defense, going against an unstructured team, you can't really game plan, even if you want to play a little defense. You guys have a good shot at this game. The issue that I'm seeing here, I don't know how Vaughn's going to fit into this. I don't know if you're going to have a Vaughn Yusuf kind of thing going here, where they're going to go back and forth. So then it's like, all right, who's got the secondary piece to be more stable? You guys have Trey. They've got 1v1. I like what 1v1's been doing. He also does a better job than Trey of getting everybody involved. It isn't that Trey doesn't move the ball. It's just 1v1 is, he can be a facilitator if he wants to.
Yeah.
He is a facilitator.
Yeah, he's
But he's been a lot more kind of like selfless this season, which
The ball isn't coming his way a lot of times.
Yeah.
But being able to play aside Yusuf and be still effective to the game is
whenever you
testament
play,
of how
whenever
good he
you
is.
do play when you're a scorer and you're playing with another scorer, I want to commend 1v1 for being able to change up and adapt his game to be able to fit into what they need up to this point, because they're the second best team for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as what they do best, rebounding has been a consistent thing for the Makos. Luckily, you guys have the size to match up with that.
Yeah.
I think this will be a close game, and when it comes down to it, as far as execution down the stretch, you guys have a chance to win it in that way. If it becomes a track meet, I don't think that's a game you guys want to play.
No.
Mostly because I love Chan to death, but if we're running up and down the floor, we'll see if he makes it past half court consistently. Like he's not. It's not because he's lazy. It's just the dude's just. He's just out of shape, and to be running up and down the floor like that, you're asking a lot out of him. He wants to slow the game down. If you guys slow the game down, you got a good chance. But my gut is telling me this is a week where they know they got to win this game. Your big game is going to be that last one, but this next one, I got the Makos in a close one.
I'm going to follow you on that bandwagon. I'm going Makos also. Same thing. I do feel like size-wise, they're going to have that advantage, like going up and down the court, which is that Makos ball also. They have that 3 ball always. I feel like 7 out of, could be 9 out of 9.
That's
Everybody
true.
can shoot
They
on
can
that
get
team.
hot. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Darius proved it a couple times. And they also have that added fact where they can run with the ball. They don't do it as much as the Dogs and the Reapers, but they do have that effect where they can run. So I feel like they would have that advantage over you guys.
I will say, if you guys make a commitment to making them play defense, which means just pass the ball more than 2 times in a play, they don't really have the communication defensively to keep up with that.
Yeah, they break down after the first couple passes. I see that. But.
So if you guys can consistently move the ball and find someone in a spot where they are... Sometimes the ball finds someone and there's just not enough spot where they can score. If you guys move the ball around and find someone in a spot where they're comfortable, Trades does a great job getting to spots where he's comfortable. If he's finishing off a play consistently like that, and then you guys run the floor more often than they do, that's your avenue to success, in my opinion. I don't think don't get in the 3-point shootout with them, because that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, unless they just have that day where they're just missing everything.
I mean, even if they do, they have enough firepower to stay in the game.
Yep.
Yusuf went 1 for 9 or 1 for 8, whatever, to start the game. They have enough to stay in the game, even when he's shooting them out of the net.
Yeah.
Like, they still can stay in the game long enough to make it a game and then have that last minute shot.
And then just make that push.
Yeah.
So we got. You said Ghost.
I got Makos.
And I said Makos, but we got 1 Ghost Rider. Are you tying it up, or are you going 3-1 with the Makos?
I'm still on the wave that the Makos are the best team in the league right now. I do think that you guys can beat them. Give Ryan the ball. Let Ryan run the offense. Let Ryan facilitate. Let Vaughn and Trayvon be the lead scorers and do their thing. Ryan's extremely unselfish. You guys can all get shots. You guys spread the floor out, and in my personal opinion, if you push the pace on them, they have at bare minimum 2 fat guys on the court at a time. You guys have 2 fat guys too, but you could also run a lineup of 5 athletic guys. They don't have that option.
Right.
So if you push the pace, Yusuf does the Jose Alvarado 8 out of 10 plays.
Yeah.
So now you're 4 on 5, guaranteed, with Kyle or Quentin in the backcourt.
Yeah.
They're either going to foul because Kyle's smart, he's not going to give you an easy shot, or you're going to be in a position where you can get an easy bucket. If you push the pace and make them run, although it's not good for Chan, it's good for the rest of your team. You put Chan in sparing minutes, I feel like that's kind of a recipe for success. Just looking at their roster, that's what we would have done if we had our full team against them. Obviously, we didn't. I shot horrendous when we played them. But I would go with the Makos because I don't think consistently you guys are going to be able to execute that over and over again to the extent that 1v1 God and Yusuf can keep them in the game offensively. I think that those two are just really fucking good. I think that they're arguably the best duo in the league. I know Santi and Braylon, Trayvon and Vaughn, but I really think that 1v1 and Yusuf is tough to beat. Especially because of how unselfish 1v1 is.
Yeah.
Could be 2.
What I will say to you guys is this also. Watching your tape, which I watch too much Celly Nation basketball in all honesty, there's a lot of times, Ryan being the smart player he is, he will pass up the ball and cut to a spot on the floor where the defense is nowhere to be found, and no one looks up.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like, it's not even like he's waiting for a three. He's on like the block, just like, I'm open. So if you guys make it the concerted effort to look for those spots on the floor, you guys are gonna have to execute offensively.
Yep.
Don't let this be a unstructured game. You know, run the floor obviously, but when you do get in a half court set, make the most of those possessions.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting out of it with a forced three, that's not the game y'all want to play.
No, we're definitely going to go a little bit more organized. I have my guys like, obviously Ziggy. Ziggy exploited a lot that he kept, obviously voiced his opinion in last Sunday's huddle that he was open in the middle a lot.
Yeah.
And, obviously I trust him to make an easier layup than, shooting a three, a contested three. And I try to get my guys to get him open. Same thing with me. There's not a lot of, some teams, I don't know why they put their worst player on me, but at the end of the day, I'm going to exploit that. But
because you guys are in a situation where you have so much talent.
Exactly. And I'm like,
you have to, at a certain
point,
point,
give me the body at one point, let me drive in the paint and draw the foul, and let me go to the line and so forth, and give me the ball. But yet again, I don't get the ball in the middle. I don't bitch at my teammates for not getting me the ball because they're out there scoring the ball at the 3-point line and driving the basket. There is some point in time that we try to get Ryan the ball, but as unselfish as he is, he gives the ball up and turns it over. Rather taking his open shot that he has and ready to go. And I'm like, Ryan, take it. Be aggressive. You were aggressive the first 5 minutes of the game, and look how it turned out for you.
It happened last week.
Yeah, it happened last week. And so that was something that I know he took on the chin and was like, yeah, it was my fault. I need to go do that. I need to be more aggressive. He has a green light all day long. He knows that. I'm like, look, you're a fellow dog. I know what you can do. Just go out and do it. You know what I can do? I'm going to go out and if I'm going to take a shot, I'm going to crash the board. So if I expect you to take a shot, I get you, get back on the defense and make it an impact like you can. Yeah. So they both play both, he plays both ends of the floor very well. Same thing with Trey. Both ends of the floor very well. Vaughn, both floors and both sides of the floor very well. I just think that we need to be a little bit more organized and get the guys that need to get to their spot and get the ball where they're at, comfortable with the ball, versus just forcing getting them the ball wherever they're open and then making them make a play. Because if you get it to where you're comfortable in the post, like Axel, Chan, where Chan likes to put the ball on the ground first and then go attack the basket versus putting the ball straight up. Same thing with Axel. He sometimes when he thinks too much, he overthinks it and just dishes the ball out, and then it's a turnover. I said, Axel, I trust you. Go up. Yep. And once he plays free, he's deadly. He
Lakeside
has the footwork. Yeah,
monster.
Very hard to guard.
Yeah.
Very hard to guard.
Lakeside Axel and Lakeside Kyle Big Bird is different.
And Lakeside Gene.
Yeah,
fuck is going on?
Lights out.
Yeah,
lights out.
Hey man, Lakeside sauce. No,
you too. That's true, and me as well.
Yeah, everybody outside is almost a little bit better, but when it comes into organized basketball,
get shy, man.
It's a definitely different game.
No, it's because we want to make. You and I, we want to make the right pass.
Yep.
We want to make the right play a lot of the times.
Yep.
Axel definitely gets into the mode where he overthinks a lot. If he slowed the game down, sometime now. I like the pace that he's playing at this season.
No, for sure.
I think that he's playing at a much smarter pace.
This is the best Axel we've seen.
No,
yes,
for sure.
Hands down. The reason why he was on my do not draft list the first 4 seasons is because of the fact that he slowed down the offense too much.
Yeah.
This season, he's being more decisive. Ever since last season, he's been more decisive.
Yeah.
And that's what's improved his game.
Mm-hmm.
Just making a decision, living with the results,
Yeah.
and then we just get back on D. It's okay to make a mistake.
Yeah.
As long as you're trying to do the right thing, you can make a mistake in basketball.
Yeah.
You make up for it on the defensive end. That's cool.
Mhm.
That's fine. As long as you're not holding the ball and fucking up the flow of the offense, that's the big issue.
Yeah.
Axel's feeling more confident. Chan is playing his best in season 3.
Yep.
So
Love
you guys
Chan,
have a phenomenal team. Honestly, on paper, you guys have the team with the least amount of flaws. You and the Panthers. I think you two have the team with the least amount of flaws. You're just not. It's not all coming together.
Yeah, it's not piecing together.
And you have 2 more games to make it happen. Both of you are in the same situation.
Yeah.
And if you get into the playoffs, you're both teams that could get to the championship.
Yep.
You just have to get those pieces that are all there to align.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know who I told this to, but I did say early in the season, I made a prediction. I said if the Panthers make it to the championship, the team we're facing is the Ghost Riders. But we'll see.
Yeah,
So you got both sides of that wrong.
I'll see you there.
Game 3. Game 3.
Game 3. We got La Familia
You
taking
put
on the
Magicians won the last matchup. That is not true. Magicians were 0-4 in the conferences. They are the only team that
Beat La
Week
Familia.
1, yeah. They
Ghost
got
Riders.
Who's the one that beat the La Familia?
The Ghost Riders are the only team that beat them. Just so the viewers know. Just so the viewers know.
Don't matter. No,
That's okay. Eric's drunk.
I was
He was
drunk
drunk making this.
Yeah, he was drinking before the podcast.
But yeah, La Familia won the last matchup. Pretty sure it probably was a blowout. But game 3, Magicians versus La Familia. Who you got, Sauce?
Magicians versus La Familia. I mean, no disrespect to the Magicians.
Those are your 2 former teammates, Sauce.
Great disrespect.
Reaper's gonna reap.
I understand.
Jacob Nolan
but
has more Reapers jerseys than anybody on your team.
That is true, including me.
Yeah, for sure. His family.
Because of a damn good jersey. That's why. What the hell?
You're
no,
welcome.
shout out to you. I love what they put out last week, but I gotta go with the team that's been consistent.
Yeah.
La Familia is La Familia.
Yep.
You know what you're gonna get out of them. If you can break the press, you got a good chance. As long as the shot you're getting after you break the press isn't a consistent 3 that you're gonna make or miss at 40%. If you break the press, preferably you want a layup. And if you can get a layup out of that consistently, you got a good chance. However, who do you got to deal with Braylon? Who do you got to deal with Santi? Who do you have to deal with John Kerry on the boards other than Chile?
Yeah.
Mike Mitchell, are you going to start taking threes that are out of rhythm? I know you can hit a 3, but it's not about can you hit a 3. It's about can you hit it at 40 to 45%? Are you an actual threat there? When you miss, are you allowing them to get into a fast break and allow them to get comfortable? There's too many factors, too many ifs for me to side with the Magicians, so I'm going to go with tone. I'm going to go with what I know, what a constant is. Until someone proves me otherwise, I'm going to go with La Familia here.
Ghost, do you think the Magicians stopped the streak?
After seeing last week, it definitely shows they have potential, and definitely Boogie's coming together with obviously a group of guys that are learning to mesh with each other on the fly, which is very, very hard. There's a lot of talent on that team, a lot of motivation to do the right thing, and I feel like the pressure is getting to them to being able to make a win happen. Obviously get Boogie his first win. La Familia is just an emotion where they're just like there's not a team that can really outcoach us, but obviously perform on the offensive end. There's no offensive threats on the Magicians. There's no really person that can go off. They're going to score, and they're going to get their buckets. There's no person that, obviously you got to, really just worry about. So, like with Braylon and Santi, you got to worry about those guys going off. So if they can do a good job of keeping them to under 10, 15 points, they have a chance. For me, I'm going to go La Familia because I think they're just, the onslaught. They're just really ready to go. I think they put a stamp on this, and they're in their playoffs. They're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go La Familia also. This is probably gonna be a clean sweep on the pod probably. But you can't go against a team that's like, what was it, 6 games?
7-1.
7-1.
Yeah,
6 games in a row. Yeah.
6 games in a row? No, 7.
7 games in a
They
row.
only lost the first one.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
7 games in a row. You can't
You're welcome,
go against that. You would have to be stupid to go against that. But going La Familia, so we got.
It's not impossible though. I want to
Yeah,
make sure.
it's definitely not impossible. Any team could win any
It's just
Sunday.
their margin of error for the Magicians is virtually non-existent.
What they would hope for is that, like you're saying, Braylon and Santi staying in that 15-point range, but that's
still
not,
that's
The
not
blueprint
possible.
to
That's
beating La Familia is you have to force them into a half-court game.
Yeah.
You have to. There's no other way around it. And even you're going to get out to a lead in that way because they haven't shown a propensity to be good in half-court. If you get out to a 10-point lead, just know what's coming next.
Yep. Full
That
press.
press is coming,
Yeah.
and stop for the love of. We say it every week.
Stop dribbling.
Yeah, but they got Mike Mitchell. He is the press breaker.
We say this.
You ever seen a
every week.
newspaper? The press, he's never been afraid of it.
It's
Never
just
been
like,
afraid
hey
of it.
man, just stop dribbling through it. I get we have this conflated view of ourselves that we can dribble through anything. I don't care what you can do. What you should do is what matters against the press, which is move the fucking ball. Just pass. It's not that difficult. And last week when we played them, I had a migraine. I was throwing up at halftime. I came out of the half after throwing up more than I had ever thrown up in the last few years, and I broke the press with role players just to make a point. I didn't have to move. I had to catch the ball, look, let that double team come, because guess what? If you're going to send 2 people at me at full court, you're going to leave yourself at a disadvantage. Don't freak out. Step through it, make that pass, live with the result from there, go get a layup. But my God, stop dribbling through this fucking press. Y'all giving this man steal after steal. And it's not that Mike Parker isn't a good defender, because he, at the end of the day, he's working his ass off to go get that ball.
No,
For the love of God, stop giving it to them. That's your avenue. You know you're going to get up if you settle it down. When the press comes, just relax. breathe, know that they're coming, know that those two guys they're not playing around between John Kerry and Mike Parker. But once you get past those two, who else they got?
Yeah.
And it's nothing
Patriolo. I mean, we're looking at solid defenders.
The point is, there's no shot blocker.
Yeah, there's no shot blocker.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Once you get past
You telling
those
me
two,
Patriolo is not a shot blocker?
he's no Ben Wallace or anything.
The moment I got past half court and I see no one, I'm taking it to the rim.
And
And
that's
what I
it.
did.
Just go to the rim, man. You got it. It's gonna be okay because at the end, if they bring out the press, it's usually because they're down. And if you're breaking the press and they're already down, all you're doing is building your lead.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you at some point, Tone's got to come out of that because you're gonna keep pressing while you're down. Someone has to do it at some point, right? I mean, I would assume this is logic, but we'll see if somebody can actually do that consistently.
Maybe in the playoffs.
It's not about just doing it once, twice, 3 times. You got to do it through the entirety of the game. And yeah, if you're gonna do it, the playoffs is the best time to do that.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're gonna be in the championship.
So, Mike, you making it a clean sweep? Because I know you're a big fan of Boogie. So, do you think this is?
I mean, I love Boogie as a person,
do you
but
think it's
Familia's
first
going to
time?
win the game.
Yeah.
Listen, Magicians, they played well, yada yada yada. Nobody else said. Let's move on to game 4.
Game 4, the game of the pod.
I fucking love Mitch. Look at that ass. That's what it is. Look back at me. Look back at me. God damn it, Mitch.
Beyonce could never.
Yeah, fucking Texas Hold'em. Hold these ass cheeks.
Texas whole
They ain't got nothing on Mitch.
Fuck
you.
Damn it,
We
Mitch.
got game 4, the game of the pod. Last time we got the Panthers versus the Dogs. Last time the Panthers won the last matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Goes.
Do you have Dom or not?
Questionable still.
All right.
Questionable. I haven't heard anything still.
That sounds like a no.
Who you got, Ghost? No Dom.
We have no AJ.
Yeah, no AJ for them also. So
No AJ,
no
no Dom.
No Dom, no AJ.
That makes it interesting. No AJ. I mean, I know AJ. He's like a 2-edged sword. He can take a couple bad shots and get you guys up. So I definitely think AJ is a big part of what you guys do. Him being out of the picture, do I think it lessens you? No, because then that gives more touches to Montel, which obviously makes him a lot more deadly. More reps. Obviously, something's gonna fall. You obviously more shots attempts at the 3, which I felt like before our game you didn't take any, and then our game you just fucking exploded. I was like, fuck me, like why did we let him take so many threes? But I think that gives you more touches to be able to get in the rhythm. You have a lot of glue guys. If you have Spank in there, attacking, being aggressive, being that big body to open up the middle and then dish the ball back out to the perimeter and get you open, and get Montel probably streaking in for an easy layup. I think you guys take this one, to be honest. With no Dom, it's just hard to match up with what the Dogs bring in as far as talent goes. Fritz, I definitely feel like he can go on. Do I feel like he can put the team on his back and take you guys past the Dogs? I don't think so. If he takes the right shots and gets his team involved, you guys do win. But I don't think he's going to come down to that. I think he's going to feel pressure to performing the best he can, scoring as much as he can, and that's just going to lead to his demise. And obviously the Dogs moving the ball together, having Shep distribute the ball and attack your bigs in the middle. And SDK, I love him to death. But he doesn't play great defense when he comes in. He gets a couple blocks. Some are questionable, but I think he's just going to get into foul trouble early. Fritz is going to take some couple bad shots, which is going to put you guys in a hole. They go up early, and it comes close, probably in the halftime, but then the Dogs come away with it at the end. I think so.
All right, Sauce, we got 2-1 for the Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
My friend, I'm sorry. Y'all have not shown a propensity to play good defense all season. And this is not the matchup that I would wish for you. Not having AJ makes things worse for you. Because, again, from our experience with the Dogs, our game plan was let AJ do his thing. Try to get him and funnel him. Just make sure you stay home on everybody else. Let him try to go 1-on-5. If he's not there, the assumption is that the ball is going to move a little better. And you guys have not shown the communication. Yeah, exactly. You guys haven't shown that you can communicate consistently on defense to defend more than 2 passes. And when the Dogs are actually doing what they need to do off ball, they get layups out of it. They're not good. There's not the kind of team that you're going to get a 3-pointer or 3-pointer or 3-pointer and hope for fast breaks off their misses. They're going to try to get it inside. On the other side of the floor, you guys do a good job on offense, working together, right up until you guys don't have a lead. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you're like, we got to take threes. if you take threes in this game, when you're Fritz and you have size on everybody, I get you can shoot, but why do you have to take that shot every time?
Yeah.
Why do you have to go 1 for 8? Let's try to go 2 for 5, let's say. 2 for 5, take a few more shots inside, get a few more fouls on their key players. I would attack Chef if I were you guys, and I would attack Mike also, and just to try to get fouls on them, because those are the 2 most important players offensively. You guys haven't shown a propensity to do that. The Dogs are on an upward trajectory while you guys are on a downward trajectory. I got to go with the Dogs right now. They just have things that you can bring into every game, that you can replicate, that you can count on, and you guys just don't seem to figure it out yet. You know?
Yeah, you guys have been streaky. Dallas has been up at one time. Fritz had been up at one time.
Yeah.
STK give you a good run in a couple games, but then he's been down a couple games. So to be able to piece a good run together, everyone has to perform good at one time, and that's kind of been hard for you guys to do. You as well, like, you know, you're a spot up shooter. They haven't found you in the corner, and you know, you attacking the basket. Fritz is better attacking the basket than shooting a jacked up three with you know, obviously defense in his face. He's been ultimate going to the line and, you know, making that, you know, ultimate 3-point play happen by, you know, getting fouled at the line and letting the refs letting the ball go in the refs' hands. Hey, if you make it and the refs don't call it, whatever, at least you made 2. Yeah, but if the refs call it, guess what? Now you got another one on the line. And Fritz is good, you know, at doing that, but he hasn't exploited that. You know, he's a threat at the 3, pump the 3, going for the take. There's no really, you know, defensive that can hit him. You know, Spank will probably foul him or, you know, stay up with him, which will be a good, you know, matchup. But at the end of the day, offense is going to rule, and I think Fritz has a better offense, you know, when it comes to anybody matching up on the Dogs team. So if he stays aggressive, you guys will keep in tension. But if you guys don't stay aggressive and keep your key guys in the role and moving the ball and getting Dallas involved and STK getting the rebounds that he's going to need to get over Spank, it's going to be a hard game for you guys going forward. So
the matchup of the pod, we got the pod taking the Dogs 3-1.
You didn't even ask. I could have picked the Panthers.
No, man. Satin button up Mike. he might surprise us, man.
Macy's
the
clearance.
Macy's special. The Macy's special.
This is called clearance, baby.
Now I know the people said they wanted some more awards predictions.
Yeah.
So let's do.
We're going on 2 hours. Let's award it.
Yeah.
Listen, they clearly like what we're doing. They're still in the chat. They like the captain's pod.
Since we were talking about MIP earlier, all right, we got no specific order. I've got Ish up there. I've got Channon up there. And then we also have Fonzo up there.
Axel. Why is Axel not in the conversation?
Yeah.
I want to leave room for you guys.
Well, there's a big void, and Axel's definitely in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Axel.
I think more so than Chan. I think Axel, Fonzo, Ish is probably our 3.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Axel and Fonzo have been consistently better. Ish has showed us 2 games, or a few games, I'll give him that, where he was better. Axel and Fonzo throughout the entirety of the 8 weeks so far have been better. So it'll really come down to the numbers and looking at the numbers season to season to see. Ish is getting in that running and coming towards the top of that. The other 2 just had that. They were the 2, in the beginning.
In contention.
It's close. I don't really have a vote. Honestly, I don't have a vote. I think these last 2 weeks are going to tell for MIP. I think it's the closest of the races.
And then Kyson coming into his own.
Yeah. Kyson played phenomenal last season.
Yeah, Kyson, I'm
No, but on the Reapers, he played phenomenal. He was a starter. He played really good last year. I don't think he's gotten better.
No.
I think he's gotten better scoring-wise, though. I feel like he's scoring.
He's taking more shots.
Yeah.
Because last season, he kind of got better. We got better, like, mentally-wise. And, like,
and DPOY, top shit. But, like, he hasn't been putting up those numbers.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think he's been better.
Axel, I love his game. I know what he's capable of. So that was my mission. This year was getting him more comfortable with being in an organized setting. He's never played organized growing up. He's always played street ball, and transitioning street ball into organized ball is very hard. Not knowing plays, not knowing what the defense is throwing at you, just kind of going in from a street ball aspect. When street ball is not really organized, people know how to play and know how to go off of people. You have those, kind of instincts to go off of as a street ball. But when in organized basketball, when you get pressed, what does the pressure do to you, and that's what make or breaks players, and what Axel kind of adapting to the system and being able to, I don't know if it's me being his coach, being able to feel more comfortable on making mistakes and not, holding over his head. I know it maybe might be a little bit more pressure that I'm his coach and, and holding him accountable. But every time I tell him what he's doing wrong, he takes it and he does, obviously uses it as constructive criticism and, makes me proud when he goes out there knocking down crucial free throws in the beginning of the season, being a board fanatic, which I know he's capable of doing. Same thing with Chan. Chan, his biggest thing is his ability to run with the teams. His athleticism and his stamina is a big part in what he does. And him kind of like, in the beginning, he was fighting me on his minutes, on taking him out. But as the season went on, he definitely understood, like, okay, it's time for me to come out. I said, it's not because of you. It's because of what's going on in the game, what we need you to do. And I need you to rest up so that way you can come out and bang with the team. Pause. Bang with the other guys that are going on.
Whatever y'all do for team chemistry is on y'all.
Get back in there and put some heavy screens in and let some guys feel you, going forward. So Chan's done a good job of, letting me being coachable.
Yeah.
My team is very coachable. Vaughn has been very coachable and kind of learning what I need him to do. But
you've gotten the best version of Vaughn this season.
No, for sure.
And Axel.
Axel, I love, and it's all testament and, a big shout out to Trey. Trey's a very like calm and cool and collective person where the game comes to him naturally, where he's sitting in the huddle, his natural instinct is to coach the guys around him, to bring him what he needs and what he's seeing as being the head of the team and, what he needs from them and drawing that out of them. And then every time we go in the huddle, it's always positive. It's never, you're doing shitty, you're doing this. And hey, I need you to do this, come bring to me and I'm going to get you guys open and then we're going to score and we're going to attack.
Right.
And that happens, it just doesn't happen, the way it's drawn up. But at the end of the day, I think, Axel has been the most receptive out of the two, of him and Chan. But Chan taking his open shots and threes, they're falling. And, he's playing, kind of probably his best season since, obviously season 3. But Axel obviously coming into his own this season, which is great. I hope to see him just build on this and go forward with it. So he can definitely be, higher draft candidate come next season because he definitely was a steal for me. It was him or Mike Mitchell, and I chose him. So.
You made the right choice.
Yeah,
no offense to Mike Mitchell, but
no.
you made the right choice. Axel is... We know how good Axel is.
No, for sure.
And I think playing with his best friend, it helps. It
definitely helps.
And you started that momentum, and he has been injured the past couple of years, but you taking him under your wing the past few seasons and coaching him, well, the last season, the season before he was with the Makers, but you showed him what it could look like from your angle, and you showed him basketball. And now that he's in a setting where he's comfortable and he's with a guy that he trusts, I feel like he's just able to play a version of basketball where he can just do what he's effective at and not have to worry about anything else.
Repercussions, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, at the end of the day, as a captain, that's kind of what I try to do. I try to take the guy that a lot of people just are out on, but there's something in everybody, right?
Yeah, always.
And this season for me it was Fonzo, which is why I would lean Fonzo.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what's going on offensively, he has the most defensive impact of any of those other guys you talked about. And he's always ready. And the same thing with Kyson last season. It's just find something that find that connective piece. For Kyson, it was you give him confidence by letting him guard the best player.
Yeah.
Because he really can. And that's how you get him engaged on the other side. But yeah, to answer the question as far as 6-man, or it was 6, or most improved. To go back to MIP, like Fonzo to me that's my guy. I'm going to go with him.
Yeah.
It is a close race, though.
Yeah,
I just think Fonzo hasn't had a bad game. Based on the expectation and based on what he's, at the end of the day, producing on both ends of the floor. Because he's not going to have the 20-point game. That's not what he's asked to do, though. Mm-hmm. He's asked to be ready to hit shots, give it everything you got, be scrappy. He's getting rebounds. He's playing defense. He's shooting. He's our best shooter, percentage-wise. He's our best shooter.
He's taking smart shots.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's not catch and just throw up. He's understanding exactly. He's understanding. Okay, I might have this shot available right now, but we're trying to move the ball around. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm going to get the ball back, and I'm going to be ready when it does. Or if the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to go attack. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. He's not going to back down. Yeah. It could be one of the top players. It could be one of the worst. It doesn't matter to him. He's going to go at them, and that's what I love about Fonzo. But for the other guys, Axel, the only reason I would, besides the fact that Fonzo is a Reaper, I knew that Axel would be an issue for us going against the Ghost Riders, so I took it upon myself to be like, I'll take that matchup, and he let me take him out of the game.
Yeah.
And that to me is why I would take Fonzo over Axel. Axel should not have allowed me to box him out so consistently in that game. Now, that's his biggest claim to fame. That's his biggest impact, is what he does on the boards. And for me to hold him to 0 rebounds, like, he's better than that. And I've seen him be better. There's times at Lakeside where I can't do anything with him. Yeah. It doesn't matter what's going on. I can box him out. He just has that much energy to go get the ball anyway. Yeah. He's going to move me out the way with picks. That didn't happen. That's not what I've seen out of Fonzo. It doesn't matter what week it's been. Fonzo has been there week in and week out. If he has 2 points, if he has 8 points, if he has 12 points, doesn't matter, because he's going to make an impact somewhere in the game.
Yeah. Cool. All right, 6 man of the year. 6 man of the year.
Santi, bye.
Yeah, Santi. All right, what's the next one?
Sorry, Mike Mitchell.
Listen, man, the man dropped 30 on 7 for 9 from 3.
Yeah.
Come on, now.
He's coming off the bench
times.
without no warm ups.
Santi.
Coming in
He
Crocs.
just takes a shit and then he goes.
Takes a shit and then shit's on you.
All right, let's go. Coach of the year. Coach of the year.
Tone next.
Tone.
It's
Tone and Luke.
Yeah, you wouldn't put Luke up there?
No, I would put Tone.
Hey, it's a big for me. I think to manage Youssef the way he has, there's been some blow ups, and still maintain and still be at the top.
If
where
you
he
look
is.
at the rosters, the Makos are significantly better than La Familia. If you really look at the full 9 that they have to work with, the Makos, all 9 can play basketball at a pretty damn good level. Darius is hitting shots, and Fadi is pretty good. JPP, he's pretty fucking good too. They don't have a bad player.
No.
La Familia, they got a few bad players.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not
top
trying to
3
be.
and then it falls off.
Yeah, I'm not trying. Top four. John Kerry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Tone is working with what he's got.
Yeah.
I discredited Tone because the draft was. They're top heavy as fuck. I still won't go back on that claim because it's true, and the season has proven it to be true.
Yep. He's working around.
1 through 4 is solid. Other than that, it's not.
No,
And they make it work because of Tone's coaching. Luke 1 through 9 is fucking solid.
Yeah.
They're solid.
My only thing is that the Makos could have had. I mean, it could have happened to them what the Magicians happened. Like, they could have had the Gator effect where the team blew up on them. Everyone wanted to retrade, and some people at one
But
point
Luke was there.
Yeah.
Gator left.
No,
that's
for
the
s-
difference.
No, for sure.
Gator left.
And
Luke
that's what
stayed
makes
present.
me think that Luke had control of his team and being a coach, that he said some things that resonated with certain people to stay there versus people just saying, I wanted to trade and be out. Because I don't think
fair
everybody wanted La Familia. I want out. There's not a person on there that asked for a trade. But I guarantee you there's some people on the Makos that thought about leaving there when times
There's
got
people on
tough.
both teams that did.
Yeah.
There's people on both teams that did ask for trades. Not going to name names.
Yeah.
There's people on Makos. There's people on Familia that wanted trades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually they made it work. And
Yes.
shout outs to both teams. Shout out to Tone, to Luke.
They do meet up.
All
Last
all
week
credit
this
to
season,
Luke,
so.
and that would be the interesting thing. The thing that stands out for me is the last few games in particular.
Yeah.
Down by 13, down by 20,
Yeah.
and then.
They come.
I mean, granted, it's the same fucking thing every time. Full court. Let's press. Let's press. That's just full court. Hey guys, I got a new idea. We're gonna do it just on this.
Oh my.
Let's full court press. They're not gonna see it coming. They're not gonna see it coming. Blue,
Listen,
blue, blue, blue.
I want everyone to hear this now. If
Gotham
Tone,
City.
if Tone calls a color out,
Blue.
the fucking press is coming. I don't care if it's
Run.
green. It was green against the Reapers. If it's blue, if it's pink,
If it's Gotham City,
if it's Gotham City, if it's anything outside of silence, if you hear Tone yelling it after being down 10, the press is coming. Fucking adjust, guys. I think it's interesting to go back to this Coach of the Year thing that every coach / captain brings something to the table, brings some sort of like calling card. With Tone, obviously, it's his adjustments, his schematic stuff.
Yeah.
With Luke, it's being able to manage those personalities. With Mike, it's being able to bounce back from being 0-5, get those guys on the same page. You guys working without your first rounder, and you maximizing the potential. And then from my side, it's the defense. What I'm able to get out of those guys consistently every week. We've been down 24 to the Goblins, and we still fight back. So it's difficult. On
and
that
then
end.
Dean to take selfies.
And then Dean takes selfies.
He got to
And all
recognize
it's like
him.
what Dean.
Nah, Dean has done a good job.
What Dean has done with
He's doing a
that.
hard
What
job.
Dean's done, especially the first few weeks, and he has a chance also to bounce back. What he has to do, let's focus on Dean real quick, is just help them steady the ship. Right now it's a little, choppy waters. It's okay. Just relax. You guys do one thing right now. If you can adjust, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
You guys, at the end of the day, you have them in first place. So that's Dean's claim to fame. They're still top in this conference. However, the separating thing from all the captains is our record.
Yeah.
And 7-1, and not just 7-1 in general. It was 1 loss and 7 consecutive wins.
Yeah, it's tough.
That to me puts Tone above everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
And his ability to adjust in game. Now, obviously, Tone, out of all of us, he has the most experience coaching consistently. You know, I've been coaching for a long time, but I don't do it as consistently as Tone
And
does.
you do 6th graders.
And I do 6th graders. No, 6 through 12. I don't do 6th graders.
Pause.
Let's be careful. Let's watch it, man. I'm still a public educator at the end of the day. No. But the reality is that Tone does coach AAU throughout the season. So he's constantly in it. He knows when to make adjustments. He knows how to put people in spots where they're going to succeed. So to me, he takes that edge over all of us, regardless of what we bring to the table. That's my 2 cents on Tone. Shout out Tone. Again, I mean, there's a reason they've been in the championship two seasons in a row too.
And lost 2 seasons in
Hey
a row.
man, you know what?
When I was a dog, we had to get
It could be a talent
this
thing.
year. All right, now
Could
we
be a
got
Cock size.
Listen, don't argue with Tone on that.
We did Coach of the Year.
We've done everything except for MVP.
MVP. Now MVP, we're looking at
And DPO.
Braylon.
Oh, and DPOY. DPOY, Mike Parker. I think.
Yeah, I think Mike
Mike
Parker
Parker?
takes that.
Mike Parker.
Nobody else?
Mike
He's been
Parker,
the most
no,
defensive.
It's just the 9
It's-
steals.
It's
Yeah,
okay. The 9 steals was one game.
He full court presses every game.
every game.
I'm not trying to take anything.
I always
I'm
gotta
not.
look for him.
I have to argue for my guys too. In all fairness, if you are going to argue against anyone in the
Oh, well,
Reapers,
Mike Mitchell says Gator Coach of the Year. I'll give you it. I'll give you it. He's up there. He's top 9. Top 9.
Wait
God.
to say,
Top
the
nine.
only time you got
no, with
big
the
win.
so here's the
was
thing.
big
I can
win.
understand the argument against anyone in the Reapers because we're all on the same team, so we can all play defense together. And Mike Parker is dragging that defense.
And I can understand me holding Vaughn to 6 points when I was going. So I can understand these things, not being in the conversation.
Damn, man.
These things I see. I get it.
Oh my God.
But if you look at Mike Parker,
I don't have an argument. It's hard to argue against Mike
It's
Parker.
Mike Parker.
It
It's Mike
is
Parker.
at this point.
Yeah,
he's
he's my vote.
putting them on his back defensively. Without him, there is no defense.
In which case, I'm not going to double dip and give him 2 awards. I'm going to rescind my MIP.
But
God.
do you think there's a chance he double dips and get 2 awards this year?
I mean, no.
If there's
No.
anyone that could
Is that
get,
possible?
if there's anyone,
It's possible.
who would,
I'm not going to allow it, but yes, it is
right.
possible. It's all more fun when more people win.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I will give MIP to Rookie of the Year to somebody else, even if he wins it.
No, again, I
just
will
give
listen to any
DPOY.
argument against my Reapers because the only argument that works is that we all play together. And
The
that's-
only argument that works is that I held Vaughn to 6 points. And that's
Just
the
goes
argument
right
that
back
I
around.
will live
Oh my god.
with. DPOY. I was
Hey
cheating
man, we
last
held
year.
Dom and First to 12-9 first game. So I will say.
No, first is horrible. The first.
We're
few
also
games.
yeah.
we're also a team defense guy. So yeah, Mike Parker is probably my pick, but listen, Sway constantly taking the toughest assignment and also
I'm not impressed by Sway. I don't think Sway's that good.
he's not that great defensively.
Speaking of Sway,
Now that he's in red, I don't think he's that good in red. I think he looks better in blue.
God damn it.
He's better in blue.
Anybody looks better in the Reaper jersey.
Speaking
So
of
there's that.
Sway, let's talk some MVP. Now we got Braylon.
Omar.
You got Sway.
We got-
All right, well,
I'm out of here.
Nah, Omar's my guy, man. I love Omar.
But yeah,
he's a good guy. Constantly, I feel bad for him. He's constantly like this and still getting
Sway,
cop out calls.
Anybody
just too
else?
small.
I would say Trayvon, but after the matchup, I was hoping there would be
Trayvon's
a-
not in that conversation. He only played. He missed 2 games.
Oh, you did miss a game.
The impact has to be every single game.
It's only
In my
two,
So
opinion.
it's just
It's only 2 guys.
Braylon and Sway right now.
That's it. That's the only
Yusuf
logical
wants it.
argument.
Yusuf hit a spin around 3. Nobody else is hitting those shots.
But
Nobody else
again,
is
like
the
you
game winner.
said, they've got a 1 through 9. None of the other MVP candidates other than Braylon has another guy right now. Well, now Sway has Phil. However,
Braylon has a Santi.
That's
Braylon
what I'm
has
saying.
a Mike
Yeah.
Parker, and Braylon has. Okay, Josue has a Nick.
can you
The
expound?
sneaker diarrhea.
Just expand.
The sneaker diarrhea. He's shitting on
Expound.
sneakers.
No.
And you guys
All
don't
right,
enjoy it.
look. The reality is, on both ends of the floor,
Nick's
with La
hit threes.
Familia,
He was a
with
second round
La
pick.
Familia.
Don't you talk on Sauce's bad drafting.
Okay, no. Okay, we
getting
want to talk
done.
about bad drafting. The reality is, everybody wants to be a Reaper, apparently. So there's that.
Oh.
But besides that, my bad drafting. There's no bad drafting on this side.
Okay, but
the
in all,
reality, we missed
in all
shots.
honesty, you're 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Right.
All those Sway has contributed to those 3 wins. Braylon 7 and 1. The one game Santi's not there, he drops 40, 4 for 4 from 3, dominates.
That was your fault. You were talking shit to him. You pissed him off.
I didn't talk shit to him.
It wasn't you.
No, Braylon personally hates me because we've beat them so many times that they want to beat us so bad. Towan is the same way. That was his first win against me. I got it. I understood. Message was delivered clear. Don't dribble through a double team. My guys did it anyway. I get it.
Everyone
totally
did it.
Totally there for it. Braylon's got my MVP vote. Still 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to break the trend of highest points per game and right. 7-1. Braylon's been the guy. Braylon's got my vote unless something clearly happens in these next 2 weeks to shatter things. You guys get the 1 seed and Swayze drops 40. Sure.
So, here's my
let me point. What about, let's just say La Famille drops these last 2 games, right? They lose to the Makos. Makos end up taking the number 1 seed by chance.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still saying Braylon?
Here's my argument.
Depends on what he does. It depends on what Braylon does too.
Here's my argument.
It's Braylon's to lose, in my opinion.
Because of the record. But again, what is asked of him? He's to be the leader on offense only. Yep. You never ask him to be the leader on defense.
Yep.
You ask Sway to be the leader on offense and on defense with less help for most of the season.
He's got another DPOY, a runner-up DPOY to a sexy Gator.
Oh my God, damn it!
He's got a defensive team around him. It's not solely on Sway.
No, and I'm not saying.
And the offense isn't solely on Brent.
I'm not saying that's what
He didn't guard me.
This is the 3rd time I've left. No. Listen, the reality is what we ask of Sway. And listen, I'm gonna ride or die for my boy Sway. And the only real argument for Braylon over Sway is the record. Which, again, we can...
And the 40-point game.
And the 40-point game, which we can, in all fairness, Sway had a 33-point game last week with 80% shooting pretty much.
But he had Phil on his team, so it's now discredited.
Phil for a half.
No, a half in 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
23 minutes. 23 minutes and 9 seconds. Point is, like, I can agree with the Braylon being the front runner right now based on the only difference being the record. Mm-hmm. But... there's no first rounder that is asked to do more than Sway right now. Yeah. And I know that because I'm asking that of him.
God,
I'm asking
jokes that I cannot say.
Just leave it alone.
I'll say it after.
At the end of the day, I'm asking him to be the best player on offense and also asking him to guard the best player on the defensive side. In spite of the fact that he does have other guys, he's the one who's guarding the best player consistently. So that would be my argument for Sway. Those are the only 2 guys that have a legitimate argument right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Trayvon's a great player. He hasn't been there enough, and it's the same concept. He's not asked to do as much as the other guys right now.
Great argument.
He's asked to carry it offensively. I will say that. But
he's
also
not asked to carry it because you have Vaughn.
When Vaughn is there, yes,
That's what
you
I'm
have
saying.
that.
Yeah.
After we lose Vaughn, I think he makes his run.
But we've seen what
we
Sway
keep
can
it
do
together.
without a secondary person. And remember, the
all right, that's just disrespectful to Jacob Nolan, to Sterling Shakespeare, to Mo, to Nick. Your top scorers.
Listen, listen. The reality is we've let Sway down. We could arguably be undefeated if not for us.
Well, so could we if we didn't crumble in
If
the
you
last 5
didn't
minutes
lose,
of the
if you
game.
didn't lose 5 games.
Yeah.
No, but with Sway, like really, it came down to the real players. We missed so many
Tyson
shots for him.
with them
He's
air balls.
he's scoring like 50% of our points consistently. And then we just let him down the first few games of the season. But now that we got
Shout
him.
out to Sway for holding it down.
Yeah,
keeping
thank you,
composure.
Sway. Listen,
we got
I'm gonna fight for my guy Sway
Even
every
though
time.
fighting me as a ref.
No.
We got Nick in the chat saying he should be mentioning DPOI.
Nick should be. Listen, and Nick too.
Says he
the
does
job
things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Listen, Nick will rebound harder than any other guard that I see in the league.
Yes, he would.
He took the Braylon assignment and actually held him to a pretty poor percentage, which is consistent, by the way, with the Reapers. We hold people to the worst percentage, but Nick specifically in that La Familia game, he had a huge part in why we were up to 20.
There was a point in time you guys held people to like under 20 points.
Under 50 consistently, but the best player, people weren't scoring 20, that is true, but part of that is, again, these guys, my 2 best players, the 2 people that I drafted first, making a concerted effort on the defensive end and also doing everything they have to do offensively. But yeah, it's nothing against Braylon. Braylon's a great player, clearly, but what we're asked to do is different. Braylon's asked to lead it on offense. Mike Parker's asked to lead it on defense over there. Over here on the Reapers, Sway, please do everything for us. No, we do our part. We all hold our weight.
A question for the chat.
What we got?
We got season 4 Dame or season 3 Dame or Mike Parker now. Which young silly player you taking?
Dame or Mike Parker?
If you had to make
I say Dame.
I've seen Dame be the guy.
Yeah.
And he's been the guy on both sides of the floor. It's kind of hard to to say that for Mike. Like I know he can
Mike
be
Parker
defensively.
has that defensively. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him be the only option offensively.
For
I
sure.
wonder what that looks like.
Running the offense through Mike Parker
Yeah.
alone without
Yeah.
Santi and Braylon, it's a little bit different. Dame, I know being on the Bandits, he was their only go-to, and he still made things happen with with less talent on his team. Still kept a good head on his shoulders, being that young as well.
Dame had Marcus and Montel. He had talent. Noah did a horrible job coaching.
Exactly. So, he had the talent around him, but, obviously those people weren't, buying into what, Sauce, or not Sauce, Slim wanted to go ahead and, obviously have planned out, or if he had anything planned out. But at the end of the day, I think just sheer size and
Damn,
talent-wise,
Kyson, that's dead wrong.
I think Dame is definitely taking that over Mike Parker. But Mike Parker's still, his first year in the season. He's definitely showing out. We'll see what he can do towards this playoff. He might make he might take a first rookie of the year and championship in his first year. That might it might happen for him. So shout out to him. Continue to do what you're doing on both sides of the ball, making your impact for your team. Even though they're winning, you still put your stamp on the game. It is what it is.
Guys, we're going on 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Way too long. Hey, it's okay, we're having fun.
Yeah, man, we're chilling.
The question, because you was in the bathroom, Dame season 3, season 4, or you taking Mike Parker now if you had to make a pick?
Dame. Not even close. Sorry.
Not even close.
I like Mike
It's-
Parker,
it's
but
not.
Dame is
Just too much
so
offensively.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Dame is so good. I mean,
Yeah.
Dane has, 6 inches on Mike Parker
Yeah.
and does the same thing on... Actually, no.
Not defensive.
Does the same thing. Yeah, he was number 3 in DPOI voting.
He sure
Yeah.
was.
But not doing it like Mike Parker's doing it right
Because he's not in the same system. He's in a system with a great coach, Mike Parker. Dame was in the worst system possible with a coach that did not give a fuck about his team. If we're being realistic. No, the whole thing. The whole thing. Dame was in a system that was not going to win a championship.
Yeah.
Mike Parker's in a system where he's got 2 players that are better than him, where he's not... I walked him and you guys are saying that. He's not asked to do the same exact thing. Dame is Sway.
Yeah.
And playing better.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Yeah.
He was a DPOY candidate, Sway's not. He was an MVP candidate, Sway is, but Dame had more points per game. Dame was more efficient. Dame was doing it outside and inside.
Yeah.
If you really look at what was going on last season, Dame was very fucking impressive.
Yeah.
You put Dame on La Familia, this team is definitely 8-0.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah, I
You don't
mean,
want to guard
Thank
that
God
team.
that Tone didn't get to draft him.
well, he could have just lied again and said he was a 3rd-round pick like he did in season 3.
Tone the cheater.
I don't know about that.
But I think that's it with the
Scripted.
chat. I don't think anybody else got anything going on.
People are
in the
still
chat.
on here. I don't know why you guys are still on here.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.
sticking through
You guys
2
appreciate
That's all
hours and
the
16 minutes.
awards, right?
That is all the awards,
We're done
yeah.
with them.
Well, until we have first team all defense
Oh yeah.
and then the all stars,
yeah.
but we're not getting
4 Reapers and
We're
some
gonna be
other
going
guy.
3 hours.
Mike Scalco and everybody else.
God damn.
But I appreciate you guys.
How many
coming
emails
through.
can I make this year?
17.
17, easy, fucking easy. I'll
I need
do
Band
at
of Bonus to shove his
least
secrets with me.
25.
We appreciate you guys coming through once again. We do this every week, every Wednesday, 8:30, 8:35, 8:37.
9.
We've been early. We were early
But this
today.
is the earliest one.
Don't get
This is
used
the
to
earliest.
this.
Yeah, it's because captains are
Yeah, it
here.
took all the captains to come through.
Yeah,
We're
next week
awesome.
we should have Mitch and Zane. The week after, Fadi and Kyson. Should be some interesting
That's a
assholes.
good one.
So maybe 9 o'clock those podcasts. Maybe.
Well, Kyson and Fadi, we'll see what time that happens. We'll see what time Kyson gets
After
here.
hours for sure.
But
Yeah.
appreciate you guys coming through. And once again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like if you enjoyed. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace. Appreciate Ghost and Sauce for coming.